expanding our heart and expanding our minds with every breath. Aloha, shifters, dreamers, multidimensional friends within this holographic matrix. This is Brendon, aka Skull Babylon, aka Wolf Shield, inviting you and welcoming you once again to another very exciting, inspirational, and educational live broadcast through ParadigmShiftCentral.com, a real-world interactive game to help shift consciousness. And of course, tonight it is a Paradigm Shift team building circle for February 8th, 2018. We got a lot of stuff to be able to catch up on. There's a lot that's been happening, and we'll get into that in the next moment, including information about the release of the new Paradigm Shift Central mobile app and what that means for the ongoing evolution of the game. But of course, as per usual, I am joined here in this team building circle with shifters from across the globe. So in this moment, I'm just going to pull up some microphones and invite the shifters here to make some ceremonial noise and send some love out there to all the people tuned in. So make some noise, guys. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining in once again. And of course, to all of us here in the Google Hangout, in the broadcast, and for those of you listening on YouTube, and for those of you specifically listening into the future, and even more so for those of you listening in the past, you time traveling bastards, you. So thank you again, as I said, for being here. And what we're going to do here, for those of you who aren't entirely familiar, we are going to create this digital sacred space to be able to come together as a global team of shifters, people who are intentionally helping assist with the shift in consciousness. And that's something that the Paradigm Shift Central project has been focusing on for several years now, literally going back to its genesis of back in 2010. And we've continued to evolve this project. And this project is a platform for us to be able to share together as a team, to be able to help document the shift through the creation of conscious media and videos and broadcasts and quest journals and conscious articles through the website and all sorts of other interactive stuff to be able to help feature awesome community content that is created by community members such as yourself. So with that said, yeah, again, if you haven't yet, be sure to check out the main website, live.paradigmshiftcentral.com. And the basic in getting right into this, what we'll do, like I'll explain to you a little bit about the mobile app. And then from there, we're going to pass the talking stick around. And then from there, we're just going to listen about what some of the shifters have to bring to the circle in terms of updates, in terms of things that they have been doing to help assist with the shift in consciousness, lessons that they've been learning through their own journey. Really keeping in mind that when we come together for these broadcasts, there's multiple levels to them. And they're going to be something different for everyone. But at their core, it really is about being able to show up, to collectively support each other, to collectively inspire each other, to collectively listen, and to collectively be heard as well. And that's a really important thing, because I want to be able to create this space for us to be able to share our stories, because each story that we have to share is important. And the lessons that we go through when we share them here as a group have the potential to accelerate the entire collective when we continue to be able to experience these lessons together as a whole. So as we go through this, again, let's just continue to hold space for each other. Later in the broadcast, we'll do some tarot card reading, and we'll also do some guided meditation, either by myself or somebody else in the broadcast. And then basically from that, we'll wrap it up. And following this broadcast, we will be doing another broadcast next Thursday, which will be a second team building hangout, unless for some reason I change my mind, in which case it might be a dream class. But as far as I can tell right now, we're going to do another team building hangout. So we're going to talk about stuff we're going to accomplish here, and then we're going to come back in a week, and we're just going to start getting back into the routine. So in terms of updates, for those of you who haven't been entirely synced up with the Paradigm Shift Central project, you'd actually notice that this is the first broadcast that we've done in close to a month. And a part of that was just because of the schedule with the Paradigm Shift mobile app, but also it was just because of the fact that there were some technical issues, which we happen to have gotten sorted out, fortunately. And in the meantime, though, there's been a lot that has been worked on behind the scenes, such as what I mentioned, the Paradigm Shift Central mobile app. And the Paradigm Shift Central mobile app, I'll explain it real quick, and then we'll start passing the talking stick around. That is already available on the main website. Go to the main website. You can literally go to live.paradigmshiftcentral.com/mobile app is the exact address, or go to the main website of live.paradigmshiftcentral.com, click the menu button, and then click the download mobile app, and you will see the link for either Android or for the iPhone. And if you're on iPhone, you can go right to the Apple store and type in Paradigm Shift Central, and that will bring it up. So the Paradigm Shift Central mobile app is really, really, really important moving forward within this project. And so within this project, something that we're constantly doing is we are constantly organizing and scheduling around things such as broadcasts and such as featured community content when we put up new quest journals, new videos, and other things that we will continue to expand it. The Paradigm Shift Central mobile app, one of the main features in it is that it has internal notifications, and that's incredibly powerful. So whereas in the past, a part of the struggle that we found is the fact that if we post up, say, an event or a new video or anything through Facebook and other social media, there was never a consistency in terms of it reaching all the people we want it to reach. Now, considering nobody will download this app by accident, that means that everyone who has it will be having it with the intention to be involved with this project, to be able to get up to speed. And so through the notifications within the app, you will get information about, again, upcoming broadcasts as broadcasts are going live, and again, other featured content and other things that we'll be playing around with as the project continues to evolve. Other than that, though, the core aspects of the Paradigm Shift Central mobile app is essentially the main website augmented to be able to function more effectively on mobile. So it's also created with the idea to be able to preserve data if you're using data. I admit the data, like I wouldn't fully use the app on data. It just depends what you're using. But again, that's exactly how it's meant to be used. So if you're using the app, whether you're on data or not, you can specifically go through the different options to be able to select things to view, such as, and I'm just pulling up the app here, and I'll just kind of like show it to the screen just so you can like kind of see. That's basically just like an organized menu. And so within the app, and I'm not going to get into all the details here, you have your main feeds, your player tools, your chats, and your shiftogram are kind of the main things. So within your main feeds, that's where you're going to get the information for the next broadcast, the Paradigm Shift Central TV, which I'm going to talk to you about in a little bit, how that's changed, the collective feed, which is the central news, the quest journals, the conscious articles, and also all of the archives for the new community videos, past broadcasts, my own Skull Babylon videos, featured YouTubers, which is really cool. People even within this broadcast, like Gabe is featured under there as well. And other people, I know Anna's got her YouTube channel, and anybody else who's got a YouTube channel will get you under the featured YouTubers as well. And then we even got our SoundCloud, we got Video Randomizer, the Quest Journal Randomizer, and even through there links to the Facebook page. And so the other really cool thing, and again, like I could spend a while talking about this, but I just want to give you the real basics. And other than that, I would just encourage you to download this and check it out for yourself. One of the really cool things, two of the really cool things within this, and then we'll pass it around, is the shift market. And so the shift market, and that's under player tools, the shift market is already available through the main website. It's not just within the app, but it's just something that we've recently added to the game. And the shift market is basically what it sounds like, where it's basically a part of the website where people can post their own services or items that they want to be able to sell to other shifters. So rather than it maybe being like a very specific one-off item, you would say, like, for example, I put up a post for the Orlight 23 wire wraps that I made, and I made a bunch of them, and then I put up a post for that, and then people can see that, and then they can contact me directly if they are interested. And so this is a really cool place within the game where it's, again, as a marketplace, it's a chance for us to be able to have a place where we can browse and support each other as creators and as artists. And that's a really powerful thing. And again, for example, like I've got a couple things in there, some of the other crystal stuff that I've made. John, who's in the broadcast right now, he put up a post for free energy healing. And again, you know, like that's totally cool. Like it doesn't have to, it can be another form of energy exchange. It doesn't necessarily have to be money based. And Anna is putting up a post that is also being worked on, and that's for some of her prints for her art that she is making. So you can start to see like where the creativity in this is potentially endless. And that's a really cool thing. And anything that you post in the shift market automatically is advertised through other parts of the website. So we've built it in so it's like creating free advertising for shifters to help their stuff get seen. And then more of it will get featured as we go. So the shift market is something you definitely want to check out. The other thing I was just going to mention within the mobile app, specific to the mobile app, so this is exclusive to the mobile app, it's not through the main website, is what we are calling shiftogram. And this is really cool. And there's not really even much to explain. It's essentially Instagram within the app. So it's really cool because we've already started building it. And I'll show you real quick just as I log back in here. But essentially, it's a very intentional feed for us to be able to use that is very experimental, but is also already proving to be very inspirational and a great little place for us to be able to share some like little nuggets of conscious inspiration without even really getting caught up in the idea of doing it for likes or popularity. It's kind of like this common feed that people can kind of share. So I'm just going to like show you on screen if you can kind of see. You probably won't be able to see too well. Sorry, I just gotta go back. Yeah, okay, so here's like the feed. Again, I know you can't really see, or if I change the brightness, then you should be able to see. Anyways, so you can see there's like actually like some posts there from Crystal. There's some posts there from, that's from Nico from Nick. Post there, that's a post that I put up. And so each one is just kind of like this like little nugget and stuff like that, but as a whole it's like this really cool thing that's also creating this collective timeline. And again, it is like very experimental, but it's a really cool feature within the app. So within the app there's other things. Again, it's really just a way to correlate receiving data more effectively. So you can go to the app and you can browse things. One of my favorite things to do is to browse the Quest Journal randomizer. That way, so again, like everything within the project is essentially new through what we have set it up as, through the randomization. So like an old Quest Journal can still like come up new. And now if you're browsing Quest Journals on the main website, scroll down to the bottom and you'll see underneath that Quest Journal, like a random Quest Journal. So every time someone looks at a Quest Journal, it has the potential to redirect them, to follow them further down the path to someone else's Quest Journal, such as your own. So those like algorithms are really powerful, and I'm excited to play with that. Again, just a couple other things that I'm going to mention. I'm working on this. This isn't complete yet, but we're also adding the Facebook Live video feed. One thing that I want to be able to do is that since a lot of people use Facebook Live videos, is creating an individual feed where when we share a Facebook Live video through the Paradigm Shift Central Facebook page, it actually just like brings it into this separate feed, which is specific just for the live videos. So if you go through the app, you'll be able to see that. You'll be able to see, so example, like within the live videos right now, it's not fully working. It hasn't fully refreshed. I'm like working on the tech support behind it. But when I open it up right now, you can see some of the recent ones are ones from Crystal. One Crystal did not too long ago. One John Walker did not too long ago. And one that our friends at Project Bring Me to Life actually did, that Brianna and Nick were also involved with as well. So really helping through this whole app and everything is really helping, again, like assist people with helping get their voices out. Like that's a big part of my job. A big part of the objective of the project is to be able to create a platform, to be able to create the mechanisms and the tools to be able to help assist all of us in allowing our voices to be seen by a collective audience that is sharing in that interest. So if you are planning on doing some live broadcasts, like such as like Gabe and stuff like that, like let me know and we can like curate that and help get that posted through the mobile app, and we'll kind of schedule things in like that. Again, there's more kind of little like details and everything, but I would just recommend you guys go to the mobile app and explore it. The last thing that I will mention here, and again, thank you guys for your patience and just allowing me to bring you up to speed on this, because believe me, this is all like really exciting and yeah, definitely important for where we're moving forward with the game. And the other thing on there is the Paradigm Shift Central TV has now been changed, whereas before the Paradigm Shift Central TV was essentially a collective playlist and the TV part itself was a randomizer. Now it is scheduled TV content. So if you actually go either on the main website or within the mobile app and you go to Paradigm Shift Central TV, essentially what we're going to do there is we're going to have a weekly schedule of 24-hour content that is community created, that's going to play like on a loop, but that way so people can actually see the content and people can just kind of like jump in there on their own terms and just kind of like watch whatever's in front of them. And that's like a really exciting thing, because in that sense, people can also be talking about the same thing that they're watching. So say two people are watching Paradigm Shift Central TV, they'll both be watching the same video and then they can comment. This same concept is actually something that we're also going to bring in a little later on in terms of like a theater room. And that's going to allow us to say like book a specific night of the week to be able to watch a specific video together, to be able to watch like a certain video on YouTube together or a movie or something like that. So you can start to see like where it gets pretty creative. Other than that, the other things I would just point out within the chats on the mobile app, you'll see these like within the main website and everything, like go to the menu and you'll kind of see these same information, because I had to redesign a lot of the menu stuff as well. But on there, it's going to redirect you to the Discord server, which if you haven't yet connect to that, that's where we do a lot of the team chat communication for the individual teams within the community. And that's going to be like a big thing that we're going to be focusing on more as we just kind of get things tailored and in sync and on schedule. is just the coordination of the Paradigm Shift Central teams. And the teams are like the dreams team, the mental health team, mobile app, the conscious articles team, social media tactics team, music team, and a few others. Being able to coordinate the objectives within the teams is going to be something that primarily happens through the Discord chat, but the Shift teams do also have their own forums on the website. And yeah, again, there's a couple other things that I can mention, but we'll save those for a little bit later because I just want to keep this talking stick passed around. And yeah, thank you guys again just so much for your effort, for your ongoing efforts and your ongoing contributions. The last thing I will just say is that what is going to be happening now that we have the mobile app is we are going to start getting, and this is really important. This is basically just like what I really want to say right here. What we're going to be getting into moving forward, because the mobile app is now available, is the idea to be able to create a routine in which content will be posted and scheduled. And this is something that you'll start to see throughout this next week, as early as next week, where there will be like new quest journals posted on like Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then there will also be like new videos posted on like Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. These dates aren't specific. And then there's like a conscious article on Fridays. And then there's like a featured quest journal, which would be a randomized quest journal on like Tuesday, Thursday, or something like that. So like having the scheduled content behind things is helping people get into the routine, while also for people who are engaged with the project, they know that like throughout these days, they'll be able to check in and find things new without even having to get a notification. They'll just be able to browse things on their own. So there's so much to browse within this project, and that's a big part of it. You know, we are creating a collective archive. That has always been part of the motivation, because the way Facebook works, Facebook's great for posting things in the moment, but once a week goes by, it's really hard to find that same video again on Facebook. It just gets pushed down the wall and it falls into the Facebook abyss. Like, we've all seen this, unfortunately. Like, for example, you know, like a lot of us have really produced some great content, but if it was just on Facebook, it's probably gone. And that's really unfortunate. Whereas here, the focus of this is creating a space where time is no longer like linear. Like, everything within the Paradigm Shift Central project essentially is existing in a bubble where like everything is new. And that's like a really, really powerful idea. So yeah, again, just really want to be able to remind you guys that as we move forward, creating quest journals, creating conscious articles, creating videos, and submitting those to the website is a really, really valuable thing. And those are going to earn you shift points, which you'll be able to exchange for shift buttons a little later on. There's more details about that I'll get into. And yeah, there's quite a few quest journals that are already going to be published next week that are ready to go. And yeah, I'm looking forward to being able to share some quest journals with you guys, so making some of my own, because for the last like several months, I've really been working on the back end stuff. And now essentially as a game, you know, literally thinking of this as a game, I've been developing the game. And now we're at the point where I'm like, we are at the point where we're really just ready to be like, all right, like, let's play this game together. And what this game is again, you know, working on ourselves, practicing creating, practicing sharing, practicing engaging, getting involved with broadcasts, and going the steps further, including, you know, creating a physical paradigm shift community where you are, getting inspired to do things like free hugs, shiftivism, planting those seeds, using shift buttons, all of those very, very exciting things. And then potentially even documenting that as well. So within the website, any activity that you engage in, such as posts and comments, you will be earning player activity points, and those player activity points will accumulate into some sort of value and stuff that you'll be able to exchange for shift points a little later on. We're still kind of like figuring out that aspect. But yeah, there's like basically a point system where as you engage through the game, through the app, you actually like earn points and stuff. But the points in themselves are just more of like relatively arbitrary, but still like a good measurement and just like a way for me to be able to like see and reward you guys for being involved as well. Because I really want to be able to continually create an ongoing energetic ecosystem where you guys are contributing your art, your talents, your skills, your gifts, and in return I am also being able to help reciprocate by featuring your content, yet also through other means as well, such as awarding you guys like shift points, which you can get again for like shift buttons and stuff down the road. So yeah, that's pretty much all I want to say for now. Again, I want to be able to, I might just have to do a separate video on this a little bit later just for the mobile app, amongst other videos that I got to do. But I would just recommend you guys go to the main website. If you haven't yet, download it. Go to live.paradigmshiftcentral.com, download /mobile app and download it there. And yeah, That's super awesome.
Yeah.
So go team. I'm really excited to be able to share this. This is
There
going to be
you
really
go.
important. So the app, like
Yep,
basically the
it
last thing I'll
sure
say,
is.
you can imagine the app becomes more powerful when more people begin to use it, because the more people who have it are the more people who are directly engaged and also receiving the notifications. So even though we're right at the beginning right now, imagine what this is going to look like when, say, in a few months from now, like 1,000+ people have the Paradigm Shift mobile app, and we're sending out notifications for your new quest journal, your new video, our new upcoming broadcasts, our global synchronized meditations. And, you know, it's creating that internal network that has been incredibly lacking up until we literally had to create it for ourselves. So shout out to Facebook for teaching us how to become self-reliant, because that's basically what it's led to, which was never a surprise. But yeah, evidently creating this mobile app is a huge thing for the project. And again, thank you guys for allowing me to be able to share in the excitement and to be able to share this heartfelt, dedicated project that we are co-creating together, and really seeing it as that, as something that we are co-creating together, you know, creating that collective timeline. When we all start kind of leaving our stories and stuff like that, we see this bigger story that, again, is the ongoing documentation of the shift in consciousness. So all right, so enough of me babbling on as I do. Again, I appreciate you guys just being able to give me the space to bring you up to speed, because it has been a while. But with that said, let's see what everyone else is up to. And again, using this as a chance to brainstorm, to bounce ideas off each other. And I do want to spend some intention within this broadcast, like really putting that focus towards helping people start thinking about what quest journals they can start creating. Because now that we're in the process of posting those, the idea of getting new quest journals in more than we need is going to be great, because that means more content is going to be posted on a regular basis. But again, with the quest journals, really focusing on quality over quantity is what we're going to be doing with there. But we'll talk about that a little bit more later. So with that said, I'd love to be able to pass the talking stick around. And we do have our friend Gabe in here, and it's been a while since we've heard from him. And I'd love to be able to invite him to even just like hold the talking stick first. Gabe, thumbs up if that's okay. Awesome. Sweet. All right. So Gabe Solomon, our good friend who has recently turned from a multi-dimensional adventure to the other side of the world. He'll tell us a little bit more about it, I assume. Again, he's a YouTuber within the media, within the project. Like, again, go to the mobile app, go to featured YouTubers, and you'll see him listed on there as one of the top ones as well. And yeah, Gabe, thank you so much for being back. And let me pull up your microphone. And when you're ready, go right ahead, brother. And
yeah,
thank you again.
I am ready. Thank you. And I love you. And I love everyone that's watching this, first and foremost. There's a lot of information that I can share, but I suppose we'll just start with the fact that I just got back from an interesting adventure in the Middle East. I went to Israel and I went to Egypt, and many things many things occurred. The first thing being, on a more worldly level, just being exposed to a culture such as Egypt, which is very juxtaposed to the culture in which we are used to in our part of the world. Essentially, Egypt right now is what can be considered a sort of dystopian society. It's very run down. There's people that are starving on the streets. Their government is kind of in a state of being very torn. There's people with guns everywhere, and there's people abusing animals. It's really intense. And so being there, first and foremost, for me, was incredibly paradigm shifting, because of the fact that I have been to other parts of the world that have been more third world countries, but Egypt was definitely the most drastic of these places that I've been to. And so that in of itself shifted my paradigm. The other component to this, which we'll see how relevant it is for me to go into all of this, but during the time that I was in Egypt, I was essentially downloaded with a very large repository of information regarding the ancient pyramids and the ancient temples. And this was really important for me on an individual level, because as someone that utilizes frequency and sound to heal people, the information that was downloaded to me was highly beneficial, so that in the sense that I could apply it to what I'm doing within this reality. So that was really cool. there's a lot of other things that I can go into. I'm not sure exactly what to get into right now, so maybe Brendon, you can prompt me with certain things, or someone else that's watching me. Not sure what to say.
Yeah. I mean, you actually filmed some videos while you were over there that I saw and stuff. Did you want to talk a little bit about some of the inspiration behind
that? Yeah. I'll keep it as brief as I can. So, give me a moment. The inspiration to film those particular videos came from actually something that started to occur around a year ago, which was that I was contacted by a particular individual and particular individuals that exist in parallel versions of Earth. So I've had many contact experiences with extraterrestrials, and I all of a sudden about a year ago became very aware of the fact that there was beings that were from parallel versions of Earth that are also undergoing an ascension process similarly to ours, which my soul and many of those that are watching this right now, you are also connected to that as well. They contacted me about a year ago, and they prompted me to go to Israel and prompted me to go to Egypt because there was a lot of things that wanted to come through for me, and so that I can begin to share those things. So in regards to that, I talked about a lot of different things in those videos that I filmed, but I think that the most relevant thing to share right now is the fact that during this time, in addition to having contact with beings that exist within higher dimensional space-time realities, people are also in outer body states, in dream states, and even in physical states a lot of the times, also being contacted by beings that exist within parallel time streams of Earth. And when you download into Earth, essentially as a light worker, as a starseed, you're downloading into a whole universal matrix. So think of Earth in of itself as a universe. And upon downloading into this universe, there are many, many parallel versions of you that exist in many parallel versions of Earth that, and in all of these particular realities, you are all working towards the common goal of ascension. Now, a lot of these parallel realities are very similar to our reality. A lot of these parallel realities are very different. And a lot of these parallel realities are what we would understand to be certain ancient cultures, which we are existing in as well. So in that sense, being on this planet, we're kind of like these undercover agents of the divine, and we're downloading into this reality, that, or what we call this reality, and these other realities to assist in the overall process of Earth's ascension. And so this is a very multidimensional process. And one of the things that started to happen to me about a year ago, in addition to my experiences with extraterrestrials, was, as I said, being contacted by a lot of these other humans that exist in other Earth realities. And I'm saying this because it's important to understand that experiences that are occurring to a lot of people in dream time now are experiences that are encounters with beings from other parallel Earth realities. And what else would I like to share about that? What else is important to share about that? It essentially just is very important to understand that we're not only shifting the consciousness of this reality, we're shifting the consciousness of all realities. And more relevant, more closely related, we're shifting the consciousness of all earthly parallel realities, the likes of which are many. It's very vast. So the most important thing to remember with this information is that the work that we are doing here is incredibly, incredibly, incredibly sacred and incredibly vast. And it requires an incredibly brave and masterful soul to be able to be here in this physical form and to interface with the multitude of realities in which we are interacting with. What else would you like to know?
That was pretty good, man. Sorry, I don't know if you're getting feedback on there. On a second, 1 second, I just
I
gotta
don't know.
jack back in. All right, you're good. Yeah,
Where
no,
we at on the
that was
food
good, man.
chain,
And
baby?
again, you know, I really just like, yeah, like it's trippy to think like how multidimensional this journey is, because it's really easy to kind of like see things from the ground level, but it's easy to kind of forget that things are kind of happening on like a multidimensional level. And not all of us are tuned into that. Not all of us need to be tuned into that. I'm glad that some of us are tuned into that. And quite frankly, you know, it's not something that I feel like I said, it's not something that all of us need to be tuned into. I think it takes like a very particular type of individual to be able to kind of like handle the challenges that come with that. I mean, I'll just kind of ask you this, Gabe, just, and then we'll pass the talking stick around. You know, for someone who is like openly sensitive to these experiences and just like how they come to you, and maybe you could even talk a little bit about how these experiences come to you, you know, like either through dreams and meditations, everyday experiences. You know, what are some of the challenges that you like experience with like this journey that your soul's created for yourself, and yet in themselves, how do you feel that's like made you exactly who you need to be?
That's a very good question. I don't think I've ever been asked that before.
The challenges of them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me think about that. So at this point in my journey, because these experiences have been happening to me, well, first of all, for my entire life, but more so, I've been aware and able to consciously interface with these experiences for quite a long time now. So at this point, the challenges that have come with it are far more integrated. But I suppose the biggest challenge, which is also the biggest sense of liberation that I feel, is the confusion of operating in linear reality. Because the experiences that I have are so prevalent, I oftentimes have absolutely no idea where I am situated within this particular space-time locale. And I also oftentimes forget a lot of things because my consciousness is tuned into a higher dimensional stream of thoughts, and oftentimes it's very in the moment. And so the way in which our society is structured, everything is very focused on the physical things and the logical and practical side of things, which I do have that, and I've integrated that over the number of years. But it also, in a lot of ways, doesn't make sense to the way in which I process information, which is on a very multidimensional and intuitive way, which I'm sure the majority of the people that are watching this can resonate with. So that has been the biggest challenge, is to operate within the thought structure of linear reality, and to also just fit into the crowd, so to speak. Like, I don't fit into anywhere, like any group ever. And so throughout my life, that's been very isolating. Not so much anymore, because I'm in a much different place in part of the journey, but especially when I was younger, as I'm sure many of you can relate to, I just did not fit into any particular group. And I felt very out of place and very lost and confused. So that sense of confusion and that sense of feeling very lost has been very challenging. The other biggest challenge, and this will just be the last thing that I'll share, is that oftentimes I feel like I'm too big for my body. That's the sensation that it is. It's like, in order for my soul to even keep me focused within this reality, there's like a strain that I feel to even just stay here and stay focused within this linear reality. It feels like if I were just given like a little bit more room, I would just fly away instantaneously. And so the feeling of being too big for my body, like I don't fit into the structure of this really tight and dense place, has been for many years. And as I said, it's more integrated now, and I understand what it is, but there's a lot of pressure that's constantly being put on my system. So there's a lot of like tics and weird sort of behavioral energetic things that just will spontaneously occur because of the pressure that's being put in my system or put on my system to just keep me focused within linear reality. Because to my soul, the other areas in which I'm exploring are very non-linear. And as I said, that's true for the majority of the people that are watching this, because the people that are watching this are also of a similar soul type and purpose and mission. So those have been some of the challenges. And I think I'll leave it at that.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing, Gabe. And yeah, I mean, just even on that point, the idea of, that's a big paradigm shift in itself. The idea of kind of starting to wrap our head around that idea of non-temporal occurrences, of non-temporal nature of reality. That in itself, like, I feel like a lot of mainstream culture, like it's in their heart, but they haven't really been given the instructions to be able to like have the confidence to start playing with that idea in a way that is practical, in a way that like can be applicable for their modern day concepts and objectives and day-to-day experiences. But I'll just say this, and I think that this is something I'd love to be able to hear from other people about, what is their understanding of non-temporal existence? What does that mean to them? In a very simple way, I think what's super powerful about it is the idea of relating that concept to our objectives and our dreams, and understanding that our objectives and our dreams already exist, and that it's not so much this idea of completely building something out of nothing, as much as it is aligning with something that already exists and then maintaining our current course on that path and adjusting where need be. So in that sense, I keep saying this about people when I encourage them to go out there and build paradigm shift communities and do things like free hugs. It's this basic idea that before you even decide to pull out that free hug sign, there's future realities where you've already connected with those people. And then it's basically time is like reverse engineering itself. And then you experience those in the present moment, but understanding that they already exist in the future allows you to show up for that present moment to exist. So it's very paradoxical, but it's also incredibly fun to play with, because there's a lot there that can be used to motivate us towards accomplishing what we feel in our heart. Because when we feel something in our heart, I feel that is like totally something that is directing us towards a possible future reality. But again, that's really something you have to feel for yourself, because I think sometimes the heart will kind of like play tricks on us too, or something like that. It'll teach us like how to let go of certain things that may not be in this current reality, so to speak. But yeah, being able to think about non-temporal existence in terms of manifestation, there's some powerful ideas there. So yeah, so I mean, in that sense, like the shift has already happened. It's continuing to happen. Your dreams are already here. So keep dancing. So sweet. All right, Gabe, just real quick, do you want to just mention a couple of your websites, and then we'll pass the talk and stick around?
Yeah, there's actually one particular thing that I do want to mention that is that I want to share, which has to do with basically a shiftism event that I'm hosting on Saturday. So just real quick, for individuals that are around the Los Angeles area, 10 a.m. this Saturday, I'm doing a sort of like a public social experiment at Venice Beach. And basically the idea of this is to bring people together to spontaneously create improvisational music using our bodies and using whatever else we have as instruments. And a lot of what I do in my life is creating these events and hosting these workshops where I'm using music for a tool for spiritual transformation. So basically, we're going to show up at Venice Beach. I already have a group of people that are willing to go, but we're going to show up at Venice Beach, and we're just going to get everyone, as many people as we possibly can, involved in creating music with one another in this very spontaneous way. And so by virtue of doing that, we're instantaneously creating community with everyone from all walks of life. So anyway, if you're interested in that and you happen to live in the area, just send me a message over Facebook, and I will give you the exact coordinates as to where that is happening. Once again, that's 10 a.m. at Venice Beach. And real quick, my YouTube channel is just youtube.com/Gabe Salomon. Also, my website is just my name, gabesalomon.com. And yeah, you can find everything that I do through there. And also my content is on Paradigm Shift Central. So.
Awesome. That sounds, man, just on that note, that sounds really awesome. Again, as a going out there and bringing art into the community, thinking of that, like that falls under the umbrella of shiftivism. We use the term shiftivism in a very open-ended sense of intentional acts to encourage consciousness and compassion in that sense. And so the idea of being able to, one second, I just gotta pull down the microphone, being able to go out there and create music and invite people into that ceremony is incredibly heart opening, incredibly mind expanding. And I would love to see, I mean, if I'm assuming, are you guys going to think you're going to be like documenting it in some way, get some video and stuff? That'd be great. Yeah, that'd be great. I'd love to be able to see a video of that. And yeah, like, whether you're already thinking about it or, just keep it in the back end and pull it out when you need to. But, that's a perfect place to integrate some like free hug signs if you got them and stuff like that, just kind of nearby and stuff. Cause there's lots of ways to be able to participate. And yeah, Venice Beach is a great place to do it. Again, one of the many videos that I'm still sitting on that I just have to get back to editing is from when I was in Venice Beach and doing free hugs, like skateboarding up and down Venice Beach with me and some buddies, and like, oh man, it's awesome though. But I'm really excited to hear that, Gabe. So thank you for doing that. And yeah, that's just another great example of, you can do it there and anyone can do it anywhere. Bring music out into your community and just see what happens. Watch the magic unfold. So very awesome. Sweet. All right. So Gabe, thank you again and welcome back from your journeys and for bringing back the secrets of the pyramids with you and all that stuff. Sure we'll hear more about it later. And yeah, for those of you who are interested, check out the show notes afterwards on YouTube and on the main website for this episode for February 8th to find links to Gabe's profile as well as anybody else featured within this broadcast in the show notes as well. And yeah, and you can also check out relative to the time of this broadcast, Gabe also put up a quest journal that we published, and that's about his experiences with multidimensionality and ET contact. And yeah, you can give that a read. There's some great information as well as a great example of what a quest journal can look like. So Gabe, thanks again for supporting and for contributing and for being you, man. That's the most important thing. So thank you. Awesome. Sweet. All right. So with that said, we'll keep bouncing around and we'll keep moving through this, and looking forward to just being able to hear more from other people as we collectively use this space to document through our stories the shift in consciousness. Like, it's not just quest journals. It's literally us like showing up right here and just like talking and listening and using the power of our voice. It's a beautiful thing. And again, there's layers to it. And yeah, we're here people talking, but on outside of this experience, outside of this present moment, like we are soul, we are the dream awakening to itself. And that's a really beautiful thing. The fact that all of us as like little fragments, little fractals have like found each other again to be able to collectively continue to bellow those flames, to spark that light. And, these broadcasts, they ripple out because we keep carrying that shift with us through everything that we do. So, all right, let's keep passing talking to ground. I got to double check if anybody would like to volunteer to go next. So if somebody does want to volunteer to go next, just put a hand up on the chat and just we'll give it a like little spirit finger. We're good. All right, sweet. All right. So we got Yuga who is there, Emmanuel, and we're going to pass the microphone talking stick over to him in a second. And yeah, thank you again, everyone, for tuning into this. And Emmanuel, he'll tell you a little bit more about you. And again, just for Emmanuel and for anybody else, you can just say who you are, where you're from, what you've been doing to help assist with the shift in consciousness, or just what the shift in consciousness looks like to you, and really anything else that you would like to bring to this circle, be it intentions, gratitude, visions, anything that you would like. So, brother, I'm going to pull up your microphone, and when you are ready, let's just do a quick sound check. Just go ahead and check your microphone. Just say hello or anything.
Hello? Hello.
Yeah, okay, it works. It's good. Okay, perfect. All right, sweet, man. Thank you. Good to see you. And yeah, thank you so much for joining. Passing the time over to you when you're ready, bro. Go right ahead. You're good to go. You're good to go. Can you hear me still?
Me?
Yeah. You good to go?
Okay, I wasn't sure. Okay, shit. Sorry.
You still good?
I am. Yeah.
Okay, go for it, man. It's all yours. Talking
All right, I'm Yuga, born and raised here in Phoenix, Arizona. I don't really remember how I came across the Paradigm Shift Central, honestly. It's just kind of something that really caught my eye, and I just remember kind of talking with Brendon here and there. And once I got my shifter kit, that's when I really felt like I was a part of something and just getting all the buttons and handing them out here and there, talking to people about it, sharing the Light Guardian crystal, which I love and carry with me every single day. Like I can't explain the energy that gives me, but starting off slowly. I've had a lot of issues just surrounding my personal life, but just knowing that there's a community that we can share these interpersonal connections with, it's really great. I just feel really great. Brother, I mean, Brendon's been just like a really, really good brother to me, just being able to talk with him about issues here and there. Haven't really got the chance to meet other shifters yet, but I'm always open to that. Yeah, that's really what I have to say. I'm not sure what the focus of the topic is yet, because I kind of joined in late. Sorry about that.
That's perfect, man. At this point, it's really just kind of like sharing a little bit about, you know, our who we are, introducing ourselves. So in that sense, I'll just kind of like I'll prompt you with a question, but maybe if you just want to share, like, what are some of the things that you're passionate about in terms of, you know, spirituality, consciousness, your journey? What are the things you're interested in? What are the things you're passionate about? So if you would like to share.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'd love to share. Long time, about 4 or 5 years ago, I was in a really, really deep depression, and someone mentioned to me that crystals had healing properties, and I had a really intense kind of shock towards an awakening. And once I started using crystals with meditation, I started feeling healing within myself, and then I just started practicing some forms of shamanism, Reiki, anything I could get my knowledge and practice into, anything I could apply myself with. And as I progressed more with crystal healing, I saw little magic happen in my life. I got put in homeless situations multiple times, and like within 5 minutes, I had a place to stay. There's so many positive things that happened with me just because of crystals alone. And just really wanting to understand my purpose, who I was, and what else is really going on around our world. And really, my quest for knowledge has always been my biggest thing. And the thing I've always wanted the most was to know the truth, just to know what was really there.
Awesome, man. That's perfect. Sweet, dude. Well, thank you very much for joining again. And if there is anything else you'd like to share, you're absolutely welcome. But yeah, in terms of introductions, that's perfect. So yeah, is there anything else you wanted to share, even just like in terms of like gratitude or anything that you just a little message put out there?
The spiritual guides that have been prominent in my life, dragons have always been there for me. Ganesh came to me a few years ago. I never really acknowledged Hindu deities. I mean, I did, but I never personally worked with them. And he's been very, very powerful in my life. Shiva, those are really the ones that have been there for me. I've had experiences with Ra and some other deities. I can't remember off the top of my head, but just to know that there's things that are there, even if you weren't totally open to them, just if you put yourself out there, it's really cool to see what can manifest itself if you let it happen.
Awesome. Sweet. Dude, thank you, Yuga, Emmanuel, voice of the dragons, for joining in. So awesome, man. Is there anything else you would like to share in this moment?
No, I'll just let someone else continue at this point, and I'll add in as things happen.
Sweet, man. Awesome. And for those of you who are listening to the audio, Yuga is rocking the Eye of Ra pin on his hat over his third eye, which is super stylish. So
yeah, I figured I have so many beanies, I might as well just put something on it.
It's good, man. People notice it though, and yeah, it's a good beacon. You're like riding the bus and you're wearing one of those, and like someone sees it and they'll just be like, "Oh, you know," and be like, "Hey, man, like, what's up? Like, let's have some conversation and stuff." So it makes it super easy. Sweet, man. Oh, and you got your Orlight 23 light crystal. So yeah, sweet, man. Awesome, man. All right, looking forward to chatting some more, man. Thanks for dropping in. All right, sweet. So we'll keep pouncing the talking stick around. And again, you know, like this broadcast is like this project is so many things, right? You know, as shifters, we're trying to encourage people to choose to be the change they wish to see. On a multidimensional level, we're trying to help people awaken up to the idea that this reality is not as cut and dry as it appears to be. We're trying to encourage people to think for themselves, and we're creating a safe space where people can share their experiences that they don't always get a chance to talk about. So, I mean, it's common for people to be listening to this broadcast who may not be entirely familiar with these topics to be like, whoa, like, you know, like what are these like weird people talking about or something like that. But I think what's important is just to be able to talk about these things. And again, I'm not here to say like this is accurate, this isn't accurate, but there's a lot of stuff when it comes to this multidimensional reality that we simply don't know for certain. And simply by being able to have these discussions in the first place is going to help us create the dialogue that will lead us towards further understanding and just a more general acceptance to be able to explore these themes with an open mind and a supported community. So together we're unraveling the mysteries of the universe and what it means to be multidimensional beings and how to continue to tap into our potential so that we continue to be of service for others. So it's a big part of it. All right, let's keep passing talking stick around. We got some other shifters in here. I'm just going to give a quick shout out. We got, again, from left to right on my screen, we got Gabe Solomon, who we already heard from. We got Jason Lieberman. We got John Walker. We got Crystal. And we got, I believe that is Vincent and Fennell. If I may be mistaken. We got Anna, aka Sai Sister. We got Yuga, as we mentioned, and we also have Willow as well. So at this point, again, just inviting whoever would like to go next to be able to hold on to the talking stick and who would like to add their energy to the circle. So Crystal is next on that. So we will do that and we will pass the talking stick. And Crystal has been in here before. So it's always exciting to hear back from people who have previously joined. And that's a big part of this ongoing story for Crystal and for all of us is that, you know, we invite other shifters to be a part of this ongoing story. And that's really cool. So Crystal, we'll pass the talking stick over to you, and you're familiar with the format, so you can share a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and what you've been doing to help assist in the shift, any new projects you got in the works, and anything else you would like to bring to the circle. So Crystal, I'm going to bring your microphone up, and when you're ready, go right ahead.
Hello, I am Crystal Rain, and I am located in Indiana in the US right now. And I have a kind of a lot that I'm working on. I just actually set up a location to start Paradigm Shift Indiana, and I got the Facebook page, so I'm going to be working on that soon, probably over the next couple weeks. Our first meeting is going to be on March 13th. And then I have a free hug missions and performance. Indiana is like really rural, so there's not a lot of places to do like free hugs. Like there's no like city situation. So we're gonna be basically performing on the street with hula hoops, and it's gonna be at the Midwest Action Fest, which is a film festival, and it's action, adventure, and comedy themed, which is really fun because it kind of lines up with like the superhero thing. So I'm excited about that. That's in April on the 20th and the 21st. I got my Patreon up, which is so exciting, and I got my first 3 supporters, which are Anna and John, and then my cousin. You guys are both in. And yeah, that I'm kind of like playing the game through Patreon too, which is really fun. And then through my business, I have started doing live stream videos, which is inspired by this whole thing. And I'm doing Free Your Mind Friday and Mental Health Mondays. So tomorrow I'm doing a video on living in America and how to view the war on reality as a blessing instead of a curse. So that's going to be like probably like an hour and a half talking about the chakras and stuff like that. And through my business also, I've been doing like a lot of Reiki healing, like sending a lot of healing out to people and connecting to individual shifters as well as people that I know from Indiana. So if anybody is wanting to connect for healing, I am doing that pretty much free for all shifters, because yeah, because I love you guys. That's it.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Crystal. That's a lot that you got in the works, and I love the fact that you're so organized about it, and just like even being able to like plan ahead of time. Like that's a great idea to be able to do that. And yeah, no, that sounds really exciting. And again, you got your meetings coming up. You got like the events, possible free hugs and everything, and your Patreon, and yeah, there's a lot to really be proud of there. So awesome job. So sweet. Is there anything else you would like to either just like share in terms of like gratitude for the team, or any little like motivational, or even if you want to like, not to put you on the spot, but do some like micro channeling meditation or anything like that, or save it for later?
Oh, I don't know. I feel like I am just so low energy right now because I've been pouring so much energy into I'm not sure if I'm in the heart space to really like bring a lot through, but I was thinking earlier about how I feel like I'm finally doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And that's like, oh my gosh, I can't explain how grateful I am. Like, I've just been, when I first got onto the broadcast, I was kind of homeless. And I was living in southern Indiana and trying really hard to balance my art career. Just graduated college, and just everything's been shifting quite quickly. And so getting involved with the community gave me a lot of support, and it gave me an opportunity to connect with a lot of people that have helped me move forward. Yeah, and now I'm like doing this work with Reiki that I didn't expect to be doing. I had no idea what Reiki was, but I had actually been practicing it like intuitively for a long time, like with the breathing and stuff. I just learned like more about it, and so now I'm doing it way more efficiently and like really, really productive. And yeah, I'm just really grateful. I'm really, really grateful because I've made so many good friends through Paradigm Shift, and um, it's awesome. I just feel like I'm going in the best direction possible for me. So yeah, thank you guys so much. I love it. And I love listening to all you guys' stuff. Like, it's so interesting hearing what you guys are doing, and like your perspectives, and Gabe talking about like the being too big for your body. I've been experiencing that a lot lately, and it's been really challenging. Definitely, especially living here, because there's just not a lot of open-mindedness happening. And yeah, it's just, honestly, my heart is hurting a lot right now about what's going on in Indiana, and it's just been really, really difficult. So the support has been really good. Thank you guys so much.
Awesome. Yeah, no, it's very, very exciting, Crystal. And I think again, you have a lot to be proud of there. Absolutely. And I think what's really exciting is that, you know, again, for Crystal sharing her journey, for again, Emmanuel, for Gabe, for anybody sharing their story, it's really cool when we can again like be able to listen to each other, not even as a separate person, but you're like almost listening to them as like that, again, almost like that extension of you. So in that sense, it's really easy to be proud of each other when we hear what we are accomplishing. You know, again, it's just like, hey, we're a collective soul who's exploded into a million different pieces. And then like one of that piece is like accomplishing their dreams over here. And then another one's accomplishing their dreams over here. And then another one over there. And each one's doing it in like a unique, entirely different, vibrant way. And, you know, I put up a post today on Facebook, and it's basically just this phrase of we learn to dance in our own unique way. And I think that's the idea, is that it's fine to learn how to dance how someone else dance, but when we really start to listen to our heart, we'll discover that each of us has like our own unique dance. And yeah, a big part of that is just like really tapping into trust and just kind of like moving forward. And again, kind of what Crystal is doing as well is finding that balance between like managing business as like a spiritual entrepreneur while still being able to model it around the focus of like altruism and service and giving. And I think like that's like a big hack for anybody, is that if you can do something, be conscious of how to support yourself financially and everything, but play around with the idea of what happens when you kind of like provide your services simply as they are, and you know, the universe reciprocates that, and the more we give, the more we receive. It's kind of like that little like hidden code within the matrix, and it's it's not something I can tell you. It's something that you literally have to like take that jump to be able to experience yourself, but it is there, and it's really powerful to learn that firsthand. So again, yeah, Crystal, thank you for sharing. And just a quick mention, Crystal mentioned Patreon, and I wanted to take that as a moment to just mention, yes, we have our own Patreon. That's not what I'm mentioning here, but more so as we move into the project, one thing that I really want to be able to do, because again, you know, as a captain for this project, I really want to be able to like create a place, a kingdom that is supporting each of us. And you guys building your own Patreons is such a powerful way to be able to do that. For those of you who aren't familiar, Patreon is the monthly donation platform where people can support artists. And yeah, within the Paradigm Shift Central project, this already exists. We just have to update the list. You'll see the featured shifters who have their own Patreon. So when you're on the website, be sure to check that out. It's also on the mobile app and everything. And I'm not. I was gonna say I was gonna say if Gabe has his Patreon, but I don't think Gabe has it. Gabe, give me a thumbs up if you do have a Patreon, don't you? Yeah, you do. Okay, everyone's got a Patreon now. Honestly, everyone should have a Patreon. So I'm just letting you guys know, if you're feeling the call to like really want to being able to support yourself through sharing your gifts, be it the creation of conscious media, be it your energy work services, your arts and crafts and things like that. There's a lot of ways to do it. Again, you know, directly through Paradigm Shift, but there's also the additional way of being able to begin building your Patreon. And building your Patreon is something that can take time, but when you're thinking long term, it can be incredibly useful to be able to have those extra like few $100s at the end of the month. And in the future, we'll spend more time specifically on what I've learned from building the team Patreon for Paradigm Shift Central, and all of us just kind of talking about almost like conscious spiritual entrepreneurship and what that can look like beyond Patreon, because that's a really important topic that, you know, a lot of us are naturally feeling pulled towards. So shout out to all the creators out there. And again, just reminding you guys that you can create your own Patreon. And let us know when you do, and we can feature it through the website as well, and then people can support and connect through there. So yeah, awesome stuff. And again, state the obvious, the team Patreon, just huge shout out to the team Patreon supporters through Paradigm Shift Central. And we'll just plug it real quick here because we're already talking about it. Patreon.com/Brendon Culliton, and you can sign up to get your Shifter Booster Kit. Asking monthly micro donation is $3 to $5, and the Shifter Booster Kits now come with the Light Guardian crystals, and including the color changing Light Guardian crystals as well. So a lot of people are getting pretty excited about those ones and stuff too. So a lot of love going into those. Again, those are all tools to be able to help assist you in accelerating the shift where you are with those, the buttons. And again, you know, I'm just like, some people never heard of this broadcast before, so it's like you got to go over the bases. But again, for those of you who are looking for more information, just go right to the Patreon. And we are, yeah, just inviting more signups and everything. And thank you to everyone for the support and future Patreon supporters as well. So let's keep bouncing around. And I think, Anna, give me a thumbs up if you wanted to go next. And let's just check in. Crystal, was there anything else that you feel called to share? You're good? Okay, Crystal's good. So again, people can connect with Crystal in the show notes afterwards. And we'll hear more from everyone as we keep going. So as soon as we get through these introductions, let's just, again, kind of just like open it up into just free flow discussion. So not to like rush people through this, but let's keep that in mind that as soon as we get through these introductions and there's just a few more left, then we'll just get into, yeah, that free flow. And apologies ahead of time if I like repeat things more than once. I'm trying to become more conscious of that. I know within my like style of talking, sometimes I repeat myself. And honestly, I'm just trying to get better at it, because I'm just like, Brendon, they heard you the first time. You don't have to say it 3 times in a row, but sometimes I accidentally do. So this is all just practice. Like even for me, like I've been doing this for like years, right? And I'm still learning. So, all right. Thanks for learning together. Let's pass it over to Anna, and we'll hear a bit from her. And again, yeah, Anna's, speaking of Patrons, Anna's got her Patreon as well. So it's great to see that coming into fruition for everyone. So Anna, we're going to bring up your microphone. And when you're ready, again, you can just say who you are, where you're from, what the shift is looking like from your perspective, and what you've been doing to help assist with the shift in consciousness. So Anna, I'm just going to pull your microphone up. Do you want to just say hello, Anna?
Hi, how you going?
Perfect. All right. And Anna, passing the talking stick over to you, and welcome back.
All right. Well, thank you. Hello, everybody. I'm Anna, aka Sai Sister. And I'm from Australia. It's really hot here at the moment. It's probably different for a lot of you, but yeah. Yeah, talking about Patreon, I just got mine set up. So I will post the links there for you. and yeah, there's going to be a lot going on there really soon. I have I have a big team project that I'm doing for Paradigm Shift Central, or the whole team really, which I'll talk about in a second. And then I've got like a side story, which is like an Alice in Wonderland down the rabbit hole thing going on, and that's like my personal journey through the shift, because that's what it feels like to me, you know. Like as soon as I started getting involved, just everything opened up into like a world of endless wonder, I guess. Yeah, so talking about the Alice in Wonderland thing, I'm going to be putting together a set of prints to do with that, to sell to people. Like I did, sorry, I did my original one here. I don't know, probably too bright, probably can't even see it. But yeah, that's like, okay, I don't think you can see it. Anyway, you can see that on my team Patreon anyway. Yeah, my Patreon. So yeah, that'll be kind of cool because a lot of people are into the whole Alice in Wonderland mystery thing. Now the big thing is my tarot project that I'm doing at the moment. I am putting together a deck of tarot cards for the team. It's going to be Light Guardian themed. It's got like an overall story, which is the Sanctuary. If you want to know more about that, go to the Patreon or come and see me. So far, I'm just working on the major Arcana cards. A lot of them are being inspired by like actual people within the team. A couple of them are here actually. I'll just show you really quickly a couple of my sketches. I'm going to be looking at putting together a team really soon because I'm at the point now I need some help with management. You know, because there's a lot that goes into it. You know, looking into the symbology of each card, making sure everything's there, rewriting the meaning so that it suits us. There's my little soul box. I'd have a little giggle at this because I put the brand on it. It's iTunes. Anyway, bit of fun there. Oh, where is it? So I've got this one here. Was inspired by Brendon. As you can see, he's got his Mystic Spider-Man and his Jedi thing there, and free hug sign and his buttons. I did that in color as well. If anyone wants to hook up with me, I need some help with producing more art, the creative writing, everything like that. Of course, credit will go to the people that need it at the end, and all the when we start selling this deck, all the proceeds I'd like to donate to the Patreon itself, but I'm going to be selling the prints individually for myself. So if anyone wants any, this one here is the newest one I'm working on. This is the Wheel of Fortune, and it is inspired by John, who is in the chat right now. So this one's still in progress. I haven't got there. There's Jupiter. Wow, that was hard to do, but it was kind of fun too. So learning experience for me. I guess, and then Crystal, who's also here. This is the High Priestess card. I finally got it framed up, and this one was inspired by Crystal. It kind of turned out really well. Look at that. Wow. If you want to see the original photo that I used to base that on, just, yeah, hit me up. So yeah, really my main focus at the moment is going to be just putting together a little bit of a team, just someone I can work with to help me put plans in place, start writing the actual book that goes along with the tarot, you know, the explanations for each card and whatnot. And of course the actual deck design itself, how the cards are going to lay out, all that sort of stuff. I need somebody to help me with, otherwise I'm going to be at this for the next 5 years, you know. So yeah, I'll put a couple of links into the chat if I can, and if anyone wants to have a chat with me or join me, or yeah, just hit me up. That'd be really good.
Cool. Thank you, Anna. That's awesome. And yeah, again, so I just kind of summarizing, and Anna can explain a little bit more about this as well. But yeah, so essentially the art that she's creating is art that she's gathering to be able to create like a tarot deck that is basically like inspired by like the Paradigm Shift Central community, which is an incredibly potent idea. And again, like huge just like applause for Anna in this, because like what I love about what I'm seeing here is the fact that this is like literally like no one told her to do this. This is Anna just kind of like feeling the call to create this project for herself and for the community. And that's like, again, something that I really want to be able to encourage, is that when you guys like do feel those callings and everything to be able to create that art, I just want you to know that like that's like what you want to do is like keep listening to that, keep moving forward with that, while at the same time like looking for ways to adapt it and manage it. And I think as Anna is experiencing, the big thing with any project is really just kind of like approaching it in ways that are going to be like manageable basically and everything, because that is quite a large project that Anna is taking on, but she's already got the gears rolling on it. And so just putting out the call for anybody else who is like an artist in their own way, and who does want to get involved with like the co-creation of basically a tarot deck for Paradigm Shift Central, please feel free to do that. And again, like that's something where like I haven't like fully gotten myself involved yet, but I'm just kind of like seeing it like come into fruition through other people getting involved. And like that's the beauty of the project, is that there are these kind of like individual areas that people can kind of gravitate to. And so one of the best ways to do that would just be getting in touch with Anna, and we'll have to see, because again, like this is where like from my end, I'm trying to like figure out the best ways as to how I can support what Anna is doing. And maybe that means like creating like a separate channel within the team chat that would be specifically for that project. Or like something like a specific place for that project, so that just the people working on that can maintain the communication for that. So yeah, I still got to brainstorm on that, but in the meantime, I just want to keep encouraging Anna to keep like creating what her heart feels called to create. And at the very least, it's all just practice, and it's getting ready for the other projects that are still coming down the road and stuff. But yeah, Anna, that's a huge thing that you have brought, that you are bringing into this world. And yeah, no, I think it's really cool, and I think it's something that it will take time, but with all things, you got to work for it, but you got to earn it. But it's gonna be something really cool and really special. So Anna, thank you for taking that inspiration and turning it into something that we can share with the community in a really powerful way. So
no worries. No, thank you for inspiring me, all of you, because yeah, all it takes is a seed, and you can grow whatever you want, So yeah, no, it's good. It's really good to have something to focus on.
For sure. Awesome. Sweet. Well, again, Anna, we'll make sure we'll have your links into the show notes, and if you can post any links to me, I'll make sure that they're included as well. Is there anything else we want to express in terms of like gratitude or anything for the team out there? A little message for all the shifters out there?
Yeah, look, just keep at it, guys. I know sometimes you get little hiccups and whatnot, like with our broadcast lately, but I guess that's part of the game, isn't it? Like, you got to be able to push through the hard times to get to the next level, see what's going to come next. There's always something better coming, and I'm really excited to see what everybody's going to be up to in the future. The game's starting to get really intense now, so yeah, good luck everybody, and yeah, thank you.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you again, Anna, and for helping hold the shift over in Australia. So yeah.
All right.
Awesome. Speak with you soon. All right. So with that said, it's about 11 o'clock on my personal end, Eastern Standard Time. So we've been going for a little bit over an hour, and we still got a couple other people to be able to introduce, such as Jason, John, and I think Vincent may be here. I'm not entirely sure, and Willow as well. So if one of you guys can give me a thumbs up or raise your hand if you would like to go next. And we got John next, and then I think we'll do Jason after that. John jumped in first, and then yeah, and then from there, let's just keep, again, this is all valuable information. Like, this is, as someone who's like captain of this project, captain amongst captains and everything. It's really something where I'm continuing to learn and everything, and having these team building circles is one of the best ways for me to be able to receive these updates from you guys, like opposed to just like individual Facebook messaging chat and stuff like that. The face-to-face heart-to-heart thing is really powerful. And again, we do this and then come back in a week and we see like what's changed, what's accomplished, new people joining the game. It's pretty cool. John, we're going to pass it over to you. And John is, again, another shifter who's been involved with the project for the recent while, and also another person on Patreon as well. So again, it's great to see that, like, literally, like a year ago, like not everyone had Patreon, and now it's becoming a more common thing. So stay tuned and you'll be able to see more of the featured creations from John within the community. And he's already got quest journals online, including his adventures of doing free hugs where he is in the UK. So John, we're going to pass it over to you. And as you're familiar with the format, you can take the talking stick and do what you do as a wizard. So John, when you're ready, and let's just check microphone, because I hadn't done that, because I'm thinking I'm not hearing you right now, John, actually. So I'm not sure if you need to double check a mute on button on your end, and I'll let you know once I can hear you, but it doesn't seem to be coming through at the moment. And it does work because we've definitely done this before, so we'll just give it a couple more seconds. Doesn't look like it's working right now, John, so maybe if you want to just take another crack at it. I know you've gotten it fixed before, and in the meantime, we'll pass it over to Jason, and then John, just jump in at any point to be able to test that. So no worries, we'll get to it though. All right, I don't know if can somebody confirm, are we in Mercury retrograde right now? Like, this isn't me just like making a joke, because like I'm pretty sure we are in Mercury retrograde right now. Yeah, someone double check this. If someone wants to double check this while we're broadcasting, because yeah, like I saw another post about it earlier today, and it's just like, oh, Mercury retrograde. But lots of lessons in Mercury retrograde, that's for sure. Okay, let's pass it over to Jason, and then from there we'll check back in with John. So Jason, who was also in the recent hangout, but that wasn't the live hangout actually. But Jason, welcome to this broadcast, and again, we'll pass over to you and just share a little bit about who you are, where you're from, what you're doing to help with assist with the shift in consciousness, and anything else you would like to bring to the circle. So Jason, let's just do a quick sound check real quick, and go ahead, Jason.
Can you hear me?
All right. Yes, loud and clear. So Jason, passing the talking stick over to you, and go right ahead, brother, when you're ready.
All right. Well, my name's already been said like 20 times. I'm Jason. I'm from Maryland, live in Pennsylvania, both states in like the northeast of the U.S. I had discovered Paradigm Shift maybe like 5 years ago, I want to say, and then I ended up in Oregon and got drawn into more conventional activism, and that was really cool for a while. So I think that's given me some interesting perspective. I was part of a gardening group in Eugene, Oregon that helped people grow food. It was like starting up and maintaining residential and community gardens. Very focused on food justice and community building through the support of it, all based on volunteer effort. So, I've had a lot of experience with like thinking outside of the economic box and the ways that we approach work and things like that. So seeing that firsthand has kind of like anchored it for me that, I absolutely can't let anyone tell me that that newer ideas will not work, because I'm sure plenty of other people here, you had the experience. You can't. I find it particularly stressful at times to be told that something is impossible that I've experienced firsthand. But anyway, my main work is, I guess, about maybe what you could call sort of like an outer circle or outer layer of what Paradigm Shift does. Building networks that are centered around art primarily, different creative things, creative outlets for people, both empowering artists to come together on projects to collaborate, to help each other get known, for people who need artists to find them and vice versa, and also to do things that engage the public creatively. So I've really loved a couple of projects that people before me have mentioned. Gabe and Crystal have mentioned some really awesome things. And the reason I say what I'm doing is sort of like an outer layer, I guess, is because in my work, I'm not. I like to think of it as like I'm operating from a perspective of shifting paradigms, but I'm not talking about that expressly. When I talk about building community around creativity or something, I'm not really talking about any metaphysical stuff or anything. And I think they're both really important aspects, because paradigm shift, is like creates a forum for people to feel comfortable talking about those things, for people to learn more about them. I think it's also great to have different aspects of whatever that might imply. So, we're talking about altruistic things, where you're doing things for communities. There's other organizations that are doing things like that. There's, Food Not Bombs is a global network that you might have heard of, that gathers volunteers to cook vegan food for anyone who needs it. It's generally going to be mostly unhoused people who come out to it. I've been on both the volunteer and the receiving end of that. Really cool project, but I think it's another example of, it's a very shifty kind of thing, but it's not, they're not talking about or espousing that necessarily. And you could say that what I'm doing is sort of similar with creative things, figuring out ways to set up networks as more, if you think about how radio and television networks have traditionally operated and what they've offered to artists and to the public, it's about really looking at like what are the solution, what was addressed by that, what needs was it fulfilling, and how can we do it better now in a way that really empowers everyone involved as much as possible. So having sort of concentric circles discussing what, how these kind of platforms operate. So, as I'm talking about it, it probably makes sense why I've seen a bit of a parallel with paradigm shift. And so, I've always noticed, Brendon does sort of similar work in a way, also a videographer and stuff, just less hindered by anxiety as I guess I am, which, one reason that I'm passionate about support circles, really getting more of that happening. We tried one maybe a week and a half ago or something, and didn't really, people expressed interest but didn't show up for it, and so the idea of that is having a forum, holding space where people can specifically share what they need to, and there's no work happening. It's not a work session at all. It's not talking about your work unless it's for a need for support, which I can use at times, certainly, and I also like to be able to offer. I'd like to see more of, because we'd see a lot less burnout. We'd see people being able to stay more consistently committed. So that's something that I'm committed to, so long as we can figure out how to make it happen. So I'm hoping tonight to figure out more of what it will take to sort of get that going as a thing. Or if now's not the time, no big deal. As far as my own work, I'm kind of in a developmental moment with it, so you'll hear more down the road. But I don't have a whole lot to share about it right now. But I hope that I get to work with a lot of the cool creative people that have already spoken, and whoever's after me. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, Jason, for sharing. And I want to just, it's 11:11 right now. So sweet. Yeah, 11/11, make a wish, do your thing, do a dance. um, but just what I was going to say, Jason, because I wanted to talk to you about this before you even mentioned it, the idea of we were talking about this before, the idea, and this has been an idea that's been around for a while, and we are getting steps closer to being able to actualize it as a recurring thing, but it's basically an off-air mental health team support circle is basically what we want to be able to create. And so Jason has already expressed interest in like being able to help assist and facilitate and volunteer with this, which is wonderful. And basically me mentioning this now is just like mentioning it to Jason while also mentioning it to everyone in the community that is something that we are going to be getting into the habit of doing. It wasn't like last time when we tried it 2 weeks ago, yeah, like it just wasn't the right time for it. But again, now that we have the mobile app, now that we're getting more into the scheduling, there is the idea of doing like an off-air Google Hangout mental health team support circle. And right now the idea was to have that on like Wednesdays. And again, then that would be at like either like 8 or 9 p.m. afterwards, Eastern Standard Time. And again, that would be an off-air hangout, so people would be able to just join without it being recorded. And yeah, it would just be like a space where like you guys can join. Like I wouldn't even have to always be there. You know, I'd be trusting you guys with just kind of like facilitating that in your own way. And then I think the idea behind that is something that's really powerful, because like believe me, like it's kind of like a, I don't know what the right word is, but like these broadcasts are important, the team building circles are important, but what's also really important is when we're just like shooting the shift off air and stuff like that, because usually like that's when some of the best conversations take place, is like when we're not recording but we're just like letting loose and we're just like talking about stuff. So yeah, like the idea of doing an off air circle, and maybe it won't even, like I don't know, like maybe we might want to try it so that it's not even specifically a mental health team support circle. Like maybe it will just kind of be like a open-minded discussion off-air circle. Like we might just kind of want to try that first, just to kind of like see how that plays, and then within that there can be the discussion of mental health. I'm still kind of brainstorming it. But again, make sure that you have the mobile app, and that will get you the notifications for that. And I'd say we're ready to take a crack at that as early as this coming week. And so that would be on a Wednesday, and 9 p.m. would be the time that it would be like either on air or beginning at that point, or not on air, but would be happening or at that point, if not earlier. So yeah, for anybody who's interested in that, feel free to let us know and stuff, because I think that's really powerful. And yeah, and the off-air hangout, like that would be through Google Hangouts, and it would only be available to members of the website, so we wouldn't have to worry about trolls coming in. Like it would only be people within the website and stuff like that. So yeah. Crystal was just saying, Brendon, eventually you could actually get an online 24/7 radio broadcast going. Yeah, we kind of just in response to that, we kind of are like kind of there, because the Paradigm Shift Central TV is a 24/7 scheduled content, which is in itself very much a radio, just without the live feature. But we do have like the past episodes of Paradigm Shift Radio into the Paradigm Shift Central TV schedule that we kind of have, and again that changes up and stuff like that. But yeah, playing around with other forms of live broadcast is what we're going to be doing in the future, now that we have the mobile app to do so. But yeah, specifically in relation to what Jason was saying, stay tuned for that off-air casual open-minded discussion circle next Wednesday, and theoretically continuingly each Wednesday, if it's something that we feel works. So Jason, go ahead, pass them back to you, dude.
Okay. It's just as far as the support circle thing, the one thing I'll say is as far as why I see it as important to have it as a committed time is specifically so that if someone has something they need to air, something where they might not be able to talk to someone that they know in person or whatever, that they know that they can drop in to a certain event and be talking about that, and it's not going to be totally tangential, that it's specifically for that purpose. So it sounds like you're saying that is pretty much happening. But I mean, is that really just contingent on you moving it forward, or is there anyone else working on it? Is there anything that I can do to ensure that that can start happening promptly, or is it just a matter of time?
It's a matter of scheduling and coordinating the notifications to direct people to the place and time as it's happening and giving them the heads up to do so. So that will be coordinated on my end, but at the same time, Jason, you would be helping by showing up, by being there, by, you know, helping hold that space. And again, that invitation goes to Jason and to anybody else who, you know, just feels called to be there as, you know, a co-facilitator, or even just as, you know, a casual observer / participant in that sense. But within that, you know, just ongoing discussion on the team Discord server would be the in-between between then and now, to even do a little bit more brainstorming, maybe get some different ideas, maybe, you know, get some like specific topics of what we might want to talk about and stuff. Because again, within the Discord server, that's where like the individual chats for the teams, including the mental health team, currently are as well. So yeah, Jason, any other thoughts on that, or does that answer your question?
No, I think that's about it. Yeah, I just wanted to be clear if there, you know, if there was anything that I could do, that I knew what it was. But it sounds like, yeah, the ball's in your court at this point. So I'll just you know, I'll just keep looking out for notifications. I got the app. I got stuff on you know, from email, from either from the website or from Patreon. So
Perfect.
you know, I'm in the loop.
Yeah. I know there's like a few ways that people are getting notifications and stuff, but yeah, and again, you know, like that's keeping it simple is what I feel is what's effective. So yeah, just it's kind of mitigating the work so that Jason or somebody else doesn't have to, like, you know, go through the process of trying to like invite a bunch of people. But if we can have the invitations kind of occurring and as internally, and as Jason was saying, the scheduling and the consistency of it is really important. So I really would like to aim for that. So let's, you know, like book it in. Let's put it down into the schedule that, you know, next Wednesday and future Wednesdays will be an off-air, open-minded discussion, meditation circle through Paradigm Shift, which again is very much akin to how the physical Paradigm Shift meetups take place. You know, the Paradigm Shift physical meetups, like, they're not broadcasted live, and so when you're not broadcasting live, it's just very casual and everything like that. And yeah, I'll be there, but I won't always be there. And I think the fact that I'm not always there is like a good thing in itself too, just to, you know, see how things unfold and give people the chance to just kind of like step in as facilitators or anything. There's a lot to talk about and there's a lot to play with. So, but yeah, no, Jason, thanks for like also feeling the call on getting the ball rolling with that. Your support is definitely appreciated. So thank you.
I've seen. Wait, am I on right now?
You're good. Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you know, being involved in more conventional activism, you know, where you have a mix of people who are still thinking like in all kinds of different ways. There are people who think more on this kind of wavelength, and there's people who are much more traditional, rigid in their mindsets. And so, you know, I've seen basically, you know, the results of a lack of support. You know, activists killed themselves, got hooked on drugs, had to get out of town, things like that. You know, so I mean, I've seen firsthand, you know, just how important it is to have something for people. So I'd like to see that through.
For sure. And again, you know, like, yeah, just reiterating the power of community, like, it's bigger than we even know. It's so powerful. And like, you're right, Jason, there are people who are going through their struggles and everything, and sometimes like what they need is just community, and maybe they don't even know how to ask for it. Maybe they don't even know that they need it, but simply by creating that, making it available through our digital sacred space that we're creating, through physical meetups that people are organizing, Paradigm Shift communities and otherwise, like, that's why we do that, you know, so that those like I don't want to use the term lost souls. That's just kind of like a generic thought that came to mind. But, you know, those people who do feel legitimately like apathetic and lost will, in a sense, be able to like find hope again through the family of community. And so like that's a very, very powerful thing. So yeah, and I know you guys see that as well. And again, you know, we are proof of it in this moment right here. So thank you again, everyone, for being a part of this collective family. So Jason, is there anything else you want to share in this moment? And then we'll pass the talking stick over to John. So any gratitude?
Just one really quick question actually is the conscious memes team, does that cover like anything to do with social media? Like would that be the place to explore talking about like alternative social media as far as like decentralizing things from Facebook and whatnot?
To answer that question, the social media tactics team would be where we would talk about what you were just referring to. The conscious,
about that one.
yeah. So we got the separate one for it, but the conscious memes team does kind of overlap. It's like some of the teams overlap. So yeah, conscious memes is specifically for conscious memes, and again, you know, like those teams are kind of they're there. We haven't like fully again like that's where I do need help from you guys in terms of like being able to just get momentum going with like the activity through the teams, and so I know there's a lot that I'm doing there, but there's a lot that you guys can help out with as well. So I'll be looking for some team captains for some of the individual teams, and yeah, like there's no rush on it. We're still like, you know, everything's just kind of like moving into new patterns and stuff, but there's definitely a lot of opportunity for people to find their place. So yeah, Jason, does that answer your question?
Yeah, and I'll just say as a quick note, I don't know if I'd want to be a team captain, but I could certainly help spearhead certain things for a time.
For sure.
As far as like, so you know, I'll hop on the social media team and see how much, you know, whatever people got going on there, how it resonates. And anyway, yeah, thanks for holding it down, man.
Awesome, sweet, thank you as well, Jason. Sweet. And yeah, definitely, like there's again, just reiterating the Discord server chat. If you haven't connected to that, do that, because that's like where the team chats are taking place between broadcasts and stuff like that. So okay, sweet. Let's keep passing around. We got John, and John's microphone is working, and we'll pass it right over to him. And then from there, we still have Willow, and I'd love to be able to hear from Willow after John. And I'm not sure if Vincent is here, but if they are, Fennell. If that is, it may not even be Vincent. No, it's not. So if Fennell wants to drop in, they can. John, we're going to pull up your microphone, and we'll pass the talking stick right over to you. So John, let's... Go right ahead. We got audio on your end.
Hi.
Yeah, you're good. Stick is in your hands.
Good. Okay, so this is only my second broadcast, but it's crazy how much has changed since the first one. How many blocks it seemed to break. How much more confidence I seem to have got, and things have gone crazy.
John, can you move the mic a little bit closer?
Better?
Yeah, just a little bit. That's fine. Go ahead.
So, just generally, lots of paradigms have been shifting for me in the last month since the last broadcast. Just connecting to the other members of the shift. Getting the mobile app. Checking out the website a bit more. I haven't been doing as many free hugs, which is a shame. I haven't had a job recently, so. But it's given me a lot of free time to do dreaming and do more healing work. And so it's just good to be back. And to connect to a couple of people, like Gabe's got a really great energy, so I'm going to be checking out his website. And I'd really like to know what your little lizard is. The chap with the rat on his hat. That looks really cool. And Simon, I'm always really interested to hear what you have to say. So I'm really looking forward to us helping to run the mental health team together. And Crystal as well, I think. I think it's going to be really cool for us to be there as like we're the people that are one step ahead of a lot of people who are experiencing things that they don't understand. And then maybe we've got the experience that they need to be able to have us as like a sounding board. We're a safe place, exactly what Simon was saying. We need a safe place for people to come to discuss things that they don't understand. To discuss things that maybe they'd be scared to express somewhere else. And I think that's really important, and I'm really looking forward to it. I think that was it.
Oh, awesome. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
We can pass the talking stick around in a second, but just is there just any other gratitude that you want to express before we do that?
Yeah, mostly just to you and to the other members of the team. Yeah, I think that was it.
Cool. Awesome. John, thank you. Thank you again.
Thank you.
And I will note that John, as well as some other people, have been getting into the habit of doing Facebook Live videos. So I highly recommend connecting to John's profile. And again, we'll post that into the show notes. And you can also make sure that you're tuned into the Paradigm Shift Central Facebook page, because when his broadcasts pop up, I'll do my best to share them here and there. And so you'll also see his plus other people's broadcasts through there. But yeah, it's been really inspiring to see other people starting to use the live Facebook broadcasts, and yeah, just like being able to use that not only for your own experiences, but by getting more familiar with public speaking, presenting, and yeah, just knowing that, you know, in doing so, you're being of service, and it's really exciting. It's really cool. Okay, so we'll keep passing the talking stick around, and I think let's check in with Willow, and I'm not sure if Fenella's here, but if they are, they can let us know. But Willow, can you give us a thumbs up if you would like to go next? Sweet. All right, Willow, let's just double check your microphone. I think it's good. Okay, yeah. So, Willow, do you want to just say hello real quick? All right, it's a little choppy right now, so just wanted to. Not sure if there's anything we can do about that. Yeah. Can you maybe try getting closer to the mic? Because you were talking before and it seemed to be working fine. So yeah, I'm not sure if you want to give a quick shot at rejoining before we do that. Okay, Will's going to do that real quick. Cool. Okay, so yeah, in terms of again, you know, just like what's coming up within the future of Paradigm Shift, just reminding you guys that getting into the routines and schedules is going to be a really powerful thing. So stay tuned to that. So, all right, try again. Sorry, try one more time. I think it's better. Go ahead, Will.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it is better. All right, so Willow, we'll pass the talking stick over to you. And yeah, Willow has been some of the team building broadcasts that we've done in the past, and we were talking about the doulas is what we were talking about and stuff. It's funny. This is like just kind of a side note, but doulas are like kind of like the well, Willow would be able to explain it best, but my friend came up with the term paradoulas, and doulas is usually like someone who's like tending and helping a child or helping the mother through like the birthing process and the child raising process. So the concept of like a paradoula is kind of like someone who is like helping the paradigm shift through the birthing process. Anyways, I just wanted to put that in there. Willow, we'll pass the talking stick over to you and go right ahead, and you can share with us about all the excitement on your end. So Willow, when you're ready, and welcome back.
Cool. Hello, fellow shifters. Name's Amelia, aka River Willow, aka Wild Woman Wandering. Oh man, there's just so much I want to share because there's just been so much going on lately. So yeah, I'll touch on the doula slash, you know, midwife thing. It's something I've been pretty passionate about since before I had my little girl. Yeah, so a doula is someone that helps support a mother when she's going through the birthing process. You know, to remind her that it is in fact something that she can do, and to trust in herself. So it's a lot of, you know, empowering work. And I think that's why I've been more attracted to it. As well as the herbal side of things, I've gotten really involved with trying to come up with different herbal preparations, body products and things that can be used, you know, by women, by their partners to support them, etc., etc. Currently, in order to get to that goal, gotta have a little bit of funding. So I've started a green cleaning business called Earth Angels. And so I find that by supporting people by making a nice shiny home, that it lowers their stress so that they can concentrate on other things, in the hopes that, you know, at some point they'll come across something. And I offer doing like crystal grid charging of the house and smudges, so kind of elevate their home consciousness, and in turn hopefully they kind of elevate their consciousness, you know, along with that, because there's always that succession, right? What else? Haven't done any like in person, in reality, so to speak, activities, free hugs or anything. I mean, something I'd like to do eventually, but something that hasn't been done yet. Yeah, so that's kind of my deal.
Awesome, Willow. It's very exciting here. Sorry, I just got to pull your audio down just so the feedback's not there. Yeah, no, that's really exciting, Willow. I like the idea of doing the green cleaning. That's really cool and stuff like that. So, I was going to ask you, like, in terms of like doing like the grid energy work and stuff. What's your experience like with that? I mean, when you're doing it, you know, like what's the intention that you bring into that service for people? Because I feel with any type of energy work, it's one of those things where for someone who's kind of like looking in on it, it would be easy for them to just be like, wow, that person is like not doing anything. Like they're just like waving their arms around or walking around with a smudge stick. Like what is actually going on, you know? Or even for people who are doing like energy distant healing, you know, for someone to just be like you know, it's like, wait, like, are you paying someone $20 to like sit on their end of the computer and do nothing and stuff? There's like, how does that work, right? You know, it's just like the brain doesn't really understand, you know, from like the physical perspective of things, like what is actually happening here. But from the metaphysical perspective of things, we have to sort of be open to the idea that maybe there is, and maybe only through the process of believing and practicing do we begin to understand and also be able to tap into, you know, sort of these metaphysical abilities, such as one's being to be able to clean space and create ceremony and kind of communicate with the subtle energies around us. But Willow, in terms of what you have, like, what is a bit of your experience and your attention that you bring into the service that you provide in terms of cleansing and how you explained it? If you would like to share. When you're ready, go ahead. Hold on, I think you muted yourself. Go ahead.
Good now?
Yeah, you're good. Go ahead.
I think a lot of it's been finding the right clients that kind of understand what it is I'm doing. I've definitely had some pretty skeptical people, and I mean that's comes with the territory. But yeah, it's hard to explain, right? I think that the people that need my services just tend to find me, and they already are kind of aware of what I'm doing, and I just go with that, right?
And so in that sense, like they have confidence in like what it is that you're doing. Yeah. How would you explain what you are doing, you know, even to someone who may not be entirely familiar with the concepts and stuff? Like, how would you explain what you're actually doing, even to yourself? Sorry. Your microphone's muted right now, but if you need to step away for a second, I'm not sure. 1 second. Go ahead. Yeah. Okay. Do you need to step away? Okay. All right. That's not a problem, Willow. All right. So we'll hear from Willow in a bit. Willow is busy in the moment, and that's totally cool. So we'll hear from her in a bit. That's fine. But let's just kind of take this right into group discussion, actually, you know, in terms of like the concept of energy healing, in terms of the concept of like clearing space, of smudging, of long distance Reiki and stuff like that. What are your guys' thoughts on that? You know, like what is actually happening here? Like how would we be able to explain this to mainstream consciousness? And I do feel that there is a way. So let's just kind of explore this idea and just kind of see where we take it. Again, kind of with the idea that we're practicing talking about it here so that maybe we might be able to explain this better to other people as these conversations continue beyond this broadcast. So the concept of energy healing, energy work, how would you guys explain it to someone who's maybe not entirely familiar or already like into the shifty stuff, so to speak? Just put your hand up if you guys want to take a crack at answering that, and we'll just keep kind of passing the talking stick around. Sweet. Okay, we'll pass it to Emmanuel Yuga first, and go ahead, man. You can jump right in, and anybody next will raise your hand, and we'll pass it to you next. Go ahead, dude.
Am I? Well,
You're good.
All right. Do you want information regarding energy healing or like with crystal healing? Because I could clarify either.
We'll wrap them into a single answer if it relates.
It's a little hard for my brain to put those two the way they work. But I'll start with crystal. Crystal healing is what I've seen at least is the most profound sense of healing. One, because we live on a giant crystal, and two, our bodies are liquid vibrating crystals. And just some basic physical information, like not metaphysical information about the quartz crystal, is it vibrates at 786,000 millipulses per second. Its continuum vibrates faster than the speed of light, and its axis is essentially the creation of the universe itself. Crystals are essentially record keepers of all the events and histories that have happened on our planet. And as these energies solidify and manifest themselves, I forgot to mention, the quartz is neither solid nor is it liquid. You're holding a piece of like futuristic technology. It kind of ties in with what Brendon was talking about earlier, how when you go to a spot and you're wanting the intention to meet people, the possibility is already there to have that opportunity. The crystal is just a channel to direct kind of the energetic flow that you're wanting to create and manifest in the matrix. Energy healing is a little bit different. It has the same kind of intention, but from my perspective of energy healing, you're pushing out your own energetic signal. And regarding with Reiki, at least in person, from what I've seen, you're pushing something out, and as long as they're receptive, at least on the subconscious level, it will affect how well it you can do. But a lot of it has to do with how well you feel as well. And it's not about just feeling good, it has to do with how well you can visualize and how well you can fight. It's like let's just for argument's sake say the Matrix is a robot machine brain, and you have to reason with it why what you're trying to do should happen. The more you can reason with it and understand what you're trying to create, the easier it is for that bridge from the dream world to our world to merge. That's the best way I could explain it as far as like simple terms. I mean, energetically, I know the dimensions and I could explain that. I don't know if people are ready for that yet, though. Can we get some voice in to see where I can clarify?
That's good. Let's pass the talking stick around unless there's anything else you want to share right in this moment. But I think that's good. That gets the ball rolling. So, was there anything else?
I would like to
Go
add.
Ahead. Yeah.
Regarding the crystals and the light guardians, what you could do to show people that it's not just a placebo effect. You remember like a few years ago how they were advertising like Live Strong bands, but they were for sports and athleticism, help with balance? Thumbs up, yes, if you do. Yeah. All right. So like, if you do that, I can do that with my jewelry. You can do that with any crystal. And one thing I like to do to go a step above that demonstration of the balance factor of how it balances the energetic vibration of our cells. Just do the balance test, have them stand up, put one leg, one arm out, and then show them what it's like without the crystal on their body, and then put the crystal at the base of their feet, and their balance will increase like that. It is a sure way to get a sale if you're trying to get a sale, but it will get non-believers to just silence their mouths. Because I mean, it's not a placebo effect if it's not in your hand. A lot of people like to say, "Oh, you're tricking my mind. I'm holding something to counteract the weight. It's on the ground. You can't argue with that."
That's interesting. I hadn't really heard of that. I'll have to test it sometime for myself. So
Yeah, especially where it's the other light. So you can
Yeah.
definitely do something as Mystic Spider-Man or like a Jedi, be like, "I'll show you the
Right.
Force," and then bam, crystal magic.
I got enough
You can
crystals.
spin it
to
off
share,
a few
man.
ways.
I think so. Cool, man. Okay, that's good. You good. We'll jump back in with more from you in a bit. Let's keep passing around. Thanks, man. All right. John had his hand up as well, and then maybe I'd love to hear Gabe's interpretation of just like what is actually happening when we're doing energy work, quote unquote. I feel, and I'll just say this real quick, and I'll pass it to John. I think a big part of it is tapping into the power of our imagination. And then the other side of that question is, what is the imagination? From my perspective, again, like I don't just think of like I like our body is like advanced spiritual technology. It's not just like happenstance of evolution, and there is like hidden stuff that is inside of it, and we access it through the power and willpower of our mind. And imagination manifests things within the dream. So it's kind of like what you guys saying. It's kind of like the energy that connects one idea to another that can bring something into manifestation, and we are conduits for directing that energy. So yeah, I mean, there's again, like I'm thinking stuff as I'm just saying it, but let's pass it to John, hear what he has to say. So John, we're going to pass it over to you, who does energy work. And John, let's hear a little bit about your interpretation of what is happening when we're doing things such as energy work, distance, or even in person. And John, go ahead and test your microphone. Let's no, it's not working right now, but I think you got yourself muted, John. So
Okay.
yeah, okay, you're good now. Go for it.
Well, when I first started doing healing, it wasn't in person, because face to face and in person is quite a difficult thing for me, or it was. So when I first started doing it, it was using technology to talk to someone in another country on chat, and then visualizing them in my mind's eye with my eyes closed. I just see them as a little person inside my head. And as far as I was concerned, I was freeing my mind, like the Matrix mentioned earlier, to the point at which I would visualize that person standing facing me in my mind's eye. And as I moved my hands, as I waved my hands around to those non-paradigm shifters, like how they would think about that, I don't know. But as I move my hands up, I can feel energy. I'm visualizing that person. I'm connected to that person. And as I move my hands up, if I fail to feel energy at any point, that slice of them doesn't have energy. And I keep moving my hands up, I feel energy again, then I fail to feel energy in a certain place in my mind's eye. That might be their shoulder, it might be their hip. I can then talk to them and confirm it at a distance. And then all I would do is just wait just before the point at which there's a gap for it to refill with the energy that I have, which is coming through me from wherever you want to say it's coming from source. So it's kind of like, I don't know, we're meant to be full of energy. It's just that if you're not, for some reason, it's nice if somebody else can give you what you're missing. So I guess that's my take on energy healing. And it's just something that nature taught me. wasn't attuned by anyone. I didn't do a course. Well, I did do a course recently, but that was just to learn about the legal aspects and get insurance and stuff, so that I could jump through the hoops of 3D reality. But ultimately, it's just a natural thing, which we can all learn how to do. We can all feel our own energy just by placing our hands close together. And so I can take a normal person and say, do you want to have an experiment, play a game? Just place your hand close to mine. Can you feel something? And they might say it's heat, or they might say that they can feel pins and needles on their skin, or maybe they experience a feeling as though the two positive or negative poles of magnets have been pushed together. So they might feel that vibration where their energy and my energy are trying to meet. And instead of breaking through the barrier between us, we're communicating, we're energizing each other, we're conversing about whether or not we're going to touch. And in that moment, there's a communication that happens, and it happens via your imagination and via your intuition. And it's not reading someone's mind. It's telepathically communicating with that person, whether or not they're sat in front of you, or whether or not they're sat on the other side of the planet. And all you know is their name. So it's kind of a big thing, but it's also really simple. And that was all I was going to say.
Perfect. Thank you, John.
Okay, cheers.
Awesome. All right, let's keep again, this is open circle, so anybody can take the talking stick. Want to check in. Gabe, give me a thumbs up if you got something to share. Okay, so yeah, again, you know, like some of the key things in terms of this is like grasping the concept of like non-locality, grasping the concept that like with inside of our mind is access to like a hyper network that connects to every single point in the universe, and simply by using our thoughts we can direct the energy of where we want to put things. And yeah, like it's, you know, like even if like I was holding my hand, if I was like focusing and I was using my fingers, like there's like this whole thing where you can like kind of like spin your fingers and just like focus intention, and you'll be able to like, other people will feel it because you're actually like projecting, like you're extending your field and you're like focusing and like changing the density of like particles at a subatomic level, which again is something that like a lot of people like don't even think is possible and stuff like that. Just, I mean, that sense in itself, right? Do our thoughts change the world around us? Do our thoughts like literally change the material world around us? And I mean, in the obvious senses, yes. In the subtle senses, it's hard to notice, but a big part of this shift is becoming more aware and in tune of the subtle energies of our body, the subtle energies of the space around us, the subtle energies of our thoughts, because like that's where so much ability resides, and it's through like the softness and the gentleness of how we develop the relationship with those energies that allows us to understand them and learn how to be able to utilize them in ways beyond just what we've been taught. So yeah, it's like proto-human stuff, man. Levels up. All right, Gabe, passing over to you, man. Whatever you'd like to share in terms of how you would explain energy healing, energy work type stuff. You know, what is going on here? Break it down for us when you're ready, Gabe.
So first of all those explanations were incredibly good, and thank you for bringing those explanations through. To answer your first question, Brendan, which is how you would explain or how you would demonstrate to an individual that does not have within their current paradigm of understanding the experiential knowledge to tap into that idea. The way in which I would first go about doing that is actually similar to what John was saying, which is just to demonstrate the fact that there is a polar magnetic charge between the left and right hand. And in doing that, you are actually generating energy and working with the energy body to streamline vibration into the hands. And that generally, to people that are firstly becoming sensitive to energy, that translates into a sense of tingling which I'm sure a lot of people that are watching this understand that and have experienced that. At a later stage of development, to your energetic sensitivity, the tingling sensation actually evolves into feeling a very palpable sense of electromagnetic flux, like gelatin, electromagnetic gelatin. So those that are really sensitive to energy can feel the interconnectedness of all things through this sense of electromagnetic gelatin. We'll use that terminology. So if people, then from that standpoint, if people wanted a more logical explanation, modern science recognizes the fact that all of us have a biological electromagnetic field. So for people that are more science-minded, you can understand energy healing quite simply to be the reharmonization of this particular electromagnetic field. And in the act of harmonizing your electromagnetic field, you are harmonizing with the electromagnetic field of the Earth and the electromagnetic field of the cosmos, which of course, it's more than just electromagnetics. Electromagnetics will ultimately be understood as a multidimensional factor. But that's how someone who is more scientifically minded, someone who's more logically minded might begin to understand these kinds of things. My perspective on energy healing is that when you are able to bring someone else into the balance, a state of balance within their own energetic field, the body has a protocol that is designed to align every portion of the being to this original blueprint. The original blueprint is a complete divine package of perfection. And everyone's body, whether they're extremely balanced or extremely imbalanced, has the capability to realign to this original blueprint. So the idea of energy healing is just, in my experience, quite simply to remove blockages which prevent the flow of energy to work in accordance with the divine aspects of self. So when you can get this energy to flow throughout the body and flow throughout all portions of the being, then instantaneous healing can actually occur. In my work that I do, I do a lot of one-on-one sessions with people. And in doing these sessions, it's expanded my idea of what energy healing is. Energy healing doesn't necessarily have to be Reiki as we understand it. In my sessions, I have just simple conversations with people, and by virtue of the state of consciousness in which I live in and have been living in for many number of years, the cells in the person that I'm working with begin to recognize the divine qualities that are being transmitted through our interaction. So just by virtue of me talking and coming from the space that I live in, other people can begin to tune into that vibration, and the reflective quality of that individual's cells can begin to vibrate at a similar frequency. So it's this idea of sympathetic resonance, the idea of like frequency attracting like frequency. When we devote our lives to becoming the purest representation of our soul, of our higher self, and of the divine, then all beings that enter into our space, into our energetic field, begin to feel more aligned with who they are. And an acceleration can occur, an activation can occur, and an awakening can occur. So my understanding of energy healing goes beyond just Reiki and these other particular modalities. Energy healing can occur simply by you being who you are, being in your natural frequency, owning your path, and then sharing that with others. There's an instantaneous activation that can occur through that, as I mentioned before. Yes, I'll leave it at that.
Perfect. Thank you, Gabe. Yeah, I think those are some great examples there that also brings it back to a practical understanding of, you know, what is actually happening. And one of the basic ways that I would be able to explain it, and then we'll pass it here. And again, just get some more thoughts on this. And we do have another player who recently joined the game, Jacob, and we'll touch base with them in a second. But yeah, let's bring it back to that idea of something that we've all been able to observe, the ability for someone to carry a vibration with them, and then they walk into a room and then that vibration changes for people. So, I mean, sometimes this is more obvious in the ways that aren't always pleasant, but it's definitely obvious in the ways that are beneficial and are pleasant. Someone like walks into a room and then suddenly everyone's just like, oh, there's that jerk or whatever, or something like that. People respond to it, they reply to it energetically. There's like a physical reaction within their body. They may not even fully be aware of it, but they are. It might be someone who's just like, it's like, I don't want to be around that person. Then it's like, energetically, there's still there's still something going on. In the same way that when you as an individual are, as Gabe was saying, in alignment with yourself, you are kind of just like in that practice space of being open with your heart, being grounded in your truth, and just being like compassionate and open-minded, and just like really like a good person, a good friend. That vibration you carry literally gives other people not only permission to be able to tap into that vibration themselves, but it in turn automatically affects them simply by being within the same vicinity. So I mean, another example of this would be the practicality of thinking about what happens when you're doing free hugs. Like people come up and they give you a free hug. Yeah, they're happy about the free hug, but on an energetic level, there's a lot more going on. Like there is a whole nother level to this conversation that is happening, and it's literally like the soul speaking to each other. So again, think about that idea that in terms of the subtle energies, yes, we have our physical body, but that is not where our body ends. We have these energetic bodies. Like a lot of times people talk about there being like more than one type of energetic body, and that's where you get into like the astral body. And I don't even know the terms, but very simply, you can just kind of break it down into a way that works for you, where it's just your physical body and then your energy body. But again, think about the basic idea that each of us has that toroidal field around us. Each of us has like that force field, the morphogenetic field in a sense. And just being aware of the fact that what we are carries with us in that field. And when our fields engage and overlap with other people's fields, there's communication going on. There's data going back and forth. There's energy being exchanged. And so the energy that we carry with us is constantly being communicated to the people around us. So it brings it back to responsibility. What energy do you want to carry? And that can go a really long way, especially, for people who are intentionally, like going out there, creating space, holding space for community, making events happen and stuff like that. You can amplify that. Which actually I did want to be able to check in with Jacob, because Jacob has actually got some experience that I think kind of fits in very neatly with this topic. And we'll check in with Jacob in a second. But Jacob has been hosting a lot of, like, he's a DJ, and a conscious DJ at that, and a lot of like his music and his events that he's organizing is very much like an amplification of the energy that he himself is resonating. So like he holds it himself, and then he creates his art, and then it ripples out that energy even further. In the same way, I do it through my broadcasts, I do it through my videos, Gabe does it through his, you do it through your quest journals, you do it through, again, the ways that you show up in everyday life. So I mean, in terms of the dynamics and energetics and everything like that, it just becomes aware of the fact that we are in an ocean of energy all the time, and we really have to be responsible of what energy we are carrying with us. And knowing that there's a lot of potential there for us to be able to make a difference. Like the fact that that's true is actually in our favor. Just because, it doesn't take a lot to go out there and change the world. Sometimes it literally does just mean carrying a smile. Because it's not just a smile, it's the vibration of the smile. It's the vibration of your field. And that's pinging back and forth, and people are noticing that. And again, as Gabe was saying, it changes them, whether they are aware of it or not. So it's really powerful. So I think we're going to check in with Jacob, and Jacob is there. So Jacob, give me a thumbs up if you're ready to jump in here, and we'll give it a go. So Jacob, give me yeah, okay, cool. All right, Jacob, I'm just gonna pull up your microphone, and we're just gonna make sure your microphone's working first. So Jacob, go ahead and try now. You should be able to hear you if you're working. Doesn't look like we got audio coming in just yet, Jacob. So you might need to make sure that you got your settings set up for that. I know this is like, I think this is your first time in the Hangouts. So we'll give it a couple extra minutes on that. Jacob, keep working on your sound. Let's keep passing around on this topic of like energy and stuff. You'll figure it out, man. I know it. Within like the Google Hangouts, there's a cog thing up at the top. If you haven't clicked that, you can click it to double check. Here's a guy who like works in audio and sound and everything, so it's like he'll figure it out. All right, let's keep passing the talking stick around though. I would love to just hear a little bit more on what our thoughts are on, again, being able to understand energy healing, energy work. Again, like even the idea of non-distance energy healing and how that works. And again, just the idea of when you think of someone, you're literally connecting with them energetically. So like that whole idea of like, hey, sending you good vibes and stuff like that. When you say that to a friend, it's one thing to say it, but it's another thing to like, what happens when you sit there and you visualize and you just take a moment to like guide your breath into directing your intentions towards whatever your attention is on, be it a person or an event. Again, I'm not saying I fully understand it, but it's worth experimenting with. It's worth experiencing for yourself, and you know, it's a very personal thing as well, but there's something there. There are real experiences to be had through the dynamics of being able to understand that there is, again, more to this reality than just the physical, and the energetic part of it is something that we are intimately connected with at all times. And the more we understand that intimate connection, the more we can bring our intentions through and like work alongside with it. You know, like in a lot of cases where like we've like come here on Earth and we have all these like tools on our tool belt, we don't even know how to use them. So now like through this discussion, we're just like, oh, that's what this doohickey does. Like, oh, this is an energetic combobulator. Like now I know what it is, you know, like that's like us understanding how to use our own bodies basically. So yeah, figuring out that combobulator. All right, Jacob, go ahead and just check your audio again. I'm keeping it open so we'll be able to hear. You might need to, nothing yet, so you might need to join and rejoin, but we'll get it working. All right, let's see who else wanted to jump in and just talk a little bit more about what energy, you know, explain it to me like I'm a person who like has never heard of it before. How would you explain it? So Crystal, we'll pass it over to you and you can take a crack at this one, and go right ahead, Crystal, when you're ready.
Okay, so I did this drawing before I took Reiki classes. It's like a heart explosion. Yeah. And I was just looking into I actually have a hard time explaining Reiki. And I don't know why, because I feel like it's something that I've understood. But Reiki, the word Reiki, like Rei translates to universal or God or spirit. And then the word Ki translates to like Chi, like life force energy. So it's like the practice of like, the word channeling kind of works, but it's like your body is like a conduit, right? It's like the vessel is like the container that the energy flows through, and then the intention is the part that gets the energy to flow. Like the intention is the most important part, I think. But when I practice energy healing, I'm usually working on myself with the intention to connect to a person that I would want to send to or that is asking for it. That makes sense.
Yeah. Is there anything more you want to add to that, Crystal? Second.
I don't know. As far as energy goes, like I work with crystals a lot, and I'm sorry, my brain is like not totally on top of this right now. I think I could explain this better another time, but the crystals help me like keep myself accountable for my energy because I'm so new at this. Sometimes like we were talking about how you can transmit basically anything that's going on. Like it's challenging sometimes because you have to be really, really focused. because anything that's like out of focus will get transmitted. And so it could be potentially dangerous if you're interrupted during a session, or if if you're not clear, then you can transmit something accidentally, which I think maybe I've done before, which is like how we learn, right? Making mistakes. But crystals help with that, I think, because they have such a constant vibration. So to me, also, energy work is like the practice of setting the tone, like very literally setting the tone in the room with my vibration.
I like that. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. All right, Crystal, we'll bounce it off from there. Is that cool?
Mm-hmm.
That was good. Yeah, no, I like that idea. Yeah, energy work is very much about, intention. And then, as Crystal said, you set the tone and then you kind of hold the tone. Like, I think that's where like a person who's doing intentional energy work, like that's where it takes practice. Like that's where meditation comes in handy, because the practice of meditation is being able to keep your focus on one place at one time for, your choosing. Whereas like someone without the full experience and practice of that, they might be sitting there. So you're doing hands-on healing with someone, and you're doing there, and you're thinking about, okay, just like focusing on your breath, sending like good vibes if you're keeping it that simple. And then suddenly you're just like, boom, your thoughts wander and you're thinking about like your boss pissing you off earlier in the week. And suddenly you're just like, oh man, okay, bring it back. Right. So like, yeah, I think like when we become better creators is just when we are more capable of like maintaining the focus of our lasers, and and our laser being our focus itself. Focus your focus. But yeah, in that sense, yeah, I feel that would definitely correlate to like when energy work can become very interesting. And that's, again, one way of almost playing around with it is like, you think of kind of what we're doing with like filters. Like everything that we're experiencing right now are a lot of filters, and we're slowly peeling back these filters through our direct experiences and through opening ourselves up and through tuning ourselves in. And as we do, we're slowly becoming more and more psychic, basically, is what we're experiencing. So right now, like us talking about this is like basically us like starting to figure out like how we start to like tap into these psychic abilities that already exist. So example, say if you wanted to like contact your friend, if this is like in a theoretical concept where there are less filters, one of the ways you would do it is like you would say their name, you would evoke that energy, you would keep your focus on it, and then you would just like send it through the internet, through this like hyperdelic connection shared between all beings. And then if done properly, like it would like show up on like their location with like a notification, and they would just be like, oh, like so and so is thinking about you and stuff. I know it sounds like really science fiction and everything, but just think, if you're like an alien species and stuff like that, that's probably one of the ways that you can do it and stuff. But then again, there's a whole benefit to not being psychic as well. Like I think that's kind of the two sides of the coin, is that like we as humans chose this for ourselves to like, to not have the psychicness as like a default, but rather something that has to consciously be unlocked. And then without having it, there's like lots of unique lessons that we learn when we're just, not limiting, but like keeping our thoughts like within our own and stuff like that. So that's a whole nother conversation itself. But yeah, what happens when we start to learn how to focus our thoughts, and how can that be used towards energy healing, but also towards just general creation, and that's where you start tying in the connections between that and like lucid dreaming and stuff, where if you think you can fly, but as soon as you're like flying and then you doubt you can fly, that's when you fall. So like it's like keeping your focus on like what it is that you want to manifest, opposed to just like trying to push away the fear of what you don't want type thing. So, but again, I'm kind of spiraling into a few other topics here. Who else would like to take a crack at this? But let's just check in. Jacob, did you get your microphone working yet? Oh, you did. Yeah, there it is. All right, sweet. All right. Well, let's do this. And again, you can kind of tie in the concept of like how you perceive what you're doing through your events, your music events, in terms of like a form of energy work in itself. But overall, Jacob, we'll pass it to you, and you can just say who you are, where you're from, what you're doing to help assist with the shift, and anything else that you would like to bring to the team building circle. And thank you again for joining, man, and for being a supporter, and welcome. So when you're ready, man, go right ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Well, first off, my name is Jacob. I'm also called ADVI. Well, my performer, I guess, an entertainer, DJ Nick. It's spelled ADVI, but it's pronounced 86, like AD, Anno Domini, and then VI, Roman numeral 6. Once I guess in person,
Can you say that again? You kind of broke up.
Yeah. Let me close all the.
Type it in the chat.
Yeah, go ahead. Do what you need to do. If there's like a little bit of lag and stuff, we'll just give it half a second to figure that out and stuff. So, but yeah,
Okay.
Go ahead.
That might help a little bit. So it's pronounced 86, but it's spelled AD, like Anno Domini, and then VI, like Roman numeral 6. It's kind of like a play on words, I guess. And so yeah, I'm a DJ, and I'm actually I call myself a chief for this thing called it's a tribe. It's Third Eye Tribe out here in Los Angeles, California. We throw events and parties where we try to bring people together and expose them to things like sacred geometry, and find other just like-minded brothers and sisters who are already on the path of being awake or trying to awaken, or just like they're remembering seeing these symbols, and they're just like getting interested because they see symbols or they hear words that are just kind of like triggering different things for them. And you might think Los Angeles is like super like hippie or super awake, but we're having a more difficult time, I guess, trying to find everybody and bring them together in one place, or maybe they're not really just into this kind of music, so maybe they're following our social media and they're interested in the posts and things that we're doing, but they're not as interested in coming out to the events. So we're actually getting more involved in finding ways to get people together that don't necessarily force them to have to come out and listen to music, but maybe hosting like a Paradigm Shift Los Angeles group where people can just come together for open-minded discussion and meditation and things like that. So yeah, that's just a gist of kind of like what I'm doing out here to, I guess, help with the shift or assist with it. It's not just me, it's also my girlfriend, Jeanette. She's here with me as well.
Hi.
Yeah, you want to say something else? No. Run the little Third Eye Tribe thing together, and it's really easy because I was trying to do it by myself before, and there was way too much work. And you have to take on all these extra roles when you really want to, I guess, get yourself out there. So having her kind of be the front runner of the Third Eye Tribe account, and if you guys want to connect with that on social media, you can see a lot of cool little awake conscious media, music in the background, and flyers for events that we have coming up and stuff like that. But we try to keep it entertaining. It's not just like we're forcing our flyers and music down your throat and things like that. It's like a lot of cool stuff you can look at too. I guess energy work is, for me, is something that I wouldn't have even known about like 4 or 5 years ago until it was kind of the show that I was connected to. I want to say it was back around 2012 or so. Some crazy stuff was going on in my life at the time. I can't even pinpoint how I got this show. It just fell into my lap one day and started listening and connected to it. All the ideas and things that were being talked about were just like super relatable to me, and some kind of distant memory that I couldn't remember, but it sounded like stuff I needed to keep listening to. And then like, yeah, just here I am today. The Third Eye Tribe, I would say, is like, was the seed, I guess you can say that this show was the seed for the Third Eye Tribe LA, and it's kind of flourished into what it is today because of all the things that I've been able to gather knowledge and inspiration from Brendon and the Paradigm Shift project. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. And I will say, like, it's been really exciting over the years to just be able to observe like the evolution of your journey. And yeah, it's like and I'm on like the Third Eye Tribe LA page right now and everything, and I'm seeing your posts through like Instagram and stuff, and yeah, you guys are doing like regular events and everything. And like as much as I love being able to talk to you about this, I would love to be able to like hear from like and maybe you can share this as well, but when you hear from the people who are attending these events and what they mean to them, right? Because I think it's a really powerful thing to be able to gather community through music and dance. That's like the most like ancient thing we know. And then when you start like putting in the conscious themes within it, like that's a really powerful thing. And especially when you're as you said, you're starting to expand it into like what are new ways that we can like keep people involved beyond just like the dance, and how can we expand this into like the discussions and stuff like that too. But yeah, just talking a little bit more on that, and then we'll bounce around a little bit. Have you gotten like, or what's some of the feedback that you've been getting from people who are kind of like coming into your events and are starting to like having like who are feeling supported through their own process because of what your events are providing as a service for community, just in general. So
what I was always the like loner like 7-8 years ago who would go out to events by themselves, and I would look for stuff that resonated with me, and then I would go to an event because I was like, oh, that flyer looked cool, or oh, there's a cool DJ I like at this event. So I'm hoping, and what I'm starting to notice is happening is that people are coming out to our events by themselves because they're having the courage to kind of like finally go outside and they see like, oh, there's a flyer with some sacred geometry on it. Like, what is this about? Let me go see if there's other people there who I can connect with. And it's starting to happen. Like I'm starting to see more and more people just kind of like branch out or reach out and get out of their shell and make finally like make that connection with their other open-minded brothers and sisters here. So I think that that's a platform. Having that platform is just, it's amazing, because if I would have had that platform when I was first trying to like get more knowledge and around esoteric and metaphysical and sacred geometry type stuff, like having that platform would have been an amazing door to walk through. But now just having that platform for people, I think it's just awesome. It's just an opportunity for people to kind of like make that first step out of the door.
Yeah, and it's really cool to think about, just again, the connections that people are making at these events that you you don't even see it, you don't even hear it, but it's happening, right? Like people are going there and they're like meeting friends and they're meeting other tribe people. And again, like you're creating like a literal like portal and a vortex for synchronicity, and especially because the intention that you're putting into it, like it's just going to get echoed, like it's just going to amplify. So dude, like that's some like beautiful work that you're doing, man. That's awesome. How does it feel?
It feels awesome because it is for everybody, but it's also kind of for my own personal growth, and I'm learning so much in the process. Like I feel like I'm getting the right knowledge. I'm getting down the right path for just like being able to reach, I don't want to say reach enlightenment, but like just reach this certain higher level of myself that I'm trying to get to. Like I'm really trying to open up and learn, and doing things that are for yourself but are for other people at the same time. I think I'm also like a really good way to do that.
Mm-hmm. Super cool, man. Sweet. Well, is there anything else? Because I mean, again, we're kind of getting into the later parts of the broadcast and stuff like that. But is there anything else? Does your partner want to share anything or about what the experience has been like? No pressure or anything like that. And this is all just practice. So even if you just want to say hi or express any gratitude from either of you guys, you're more than welcome to.
So I'm thankful to be a part of this. Hi.
Hi.
She's really excited, to be honest with you. Like I think a big push for why we're taking this now out of just the events and the social media and onto connecting into the community. I think most of that push is coming from her. So I'm grateful to have her for that.
That's awesome. I'm glad you guys got each other to work together. So, and yeah, and so and just to clarify it, because within the information, people might have missed this, so I'll just reiterate it. But so you've been doing these like music DJ events. Recently, you've contacted me expressing the interest of how you want to basically like create like a paradigm shift LA, and to start like kind of like having like additional meetups and everything more kind of focused around the discussion and stuff like that. Where are you currently at with that, if there's any sort of news that you just want to be able to bring me up to speed on and stuff, and obviously thumbs up, because I think that's awesome. So
brothers and sisters in the Los Angeles or Southern California area, we're interested in having you. Right now we've created the Paradigm Shift Los Angeles page on Facebook. So if anybody listening to this right now to join that, we'll be putting on there the locations that we're going to have the meetings. It could be anywhere from like one of our houses in the backyard, we're just kicking out, like, doing whatever, maybe like playing pool and whatever, just having a cool spot where we can kick back and relax. Or we might even go to like a yoga studio, figure out where the best place for it is going to be. So we're kind of in the planning phases. It's easy though. It's like there's so many different places that we can go to. It's just a matter of, if we have like 20 people, we're going to go to a bigger place. If we only have like 7 or 8 people for the first couple gatherings, we're not going to go to extreme. Probably just keep it at somebody's house, something like that. But if anybody wants to connect with us, you can just look up Paradigm Shift Los Angeles. I think we should be the only active one. We're about like 16 members right now.
I was just going to clarify, just because I was looking it up myself. So you guys have the Paradigm Shift Los Angeles group on Facebook. There is a Paradigm Shift Los Angeles page that is basically, but it's ghosted, unfortunately, meaning that like the ad. Yeah, so I'll see if I might be able to recover that page. If not, it may just have to stand as it is. But we'll connect it into the team map and stuff, which I'll have to do in the future as well. But yeah, so Paradigm Shift Los Angeles, and then you'll find the group, and that's the one that Jacob is administering. So yeah, cool, man. Sweet. All right. Well, any other updates or any just gratitude that you'd like to express and bring to the team? By all means, go ahead, and then we'll pass the talk and stick around.
I would just say, if anybody is looking forward to connecting with us, I think Paul, I want to say the first time he heard that we were joining or getting on board, he reached out to us right away, which was super cool. If anybody else wants to reach out to us, social media, on Facebook, we'd love to connect with you guys. You don't have to. And that's all.
Say that very last bit again. You kind of chopped out there.
I said we're just looking to get more involved. So whoever wants to connect with us, or Los Angeles area, just feel free to reach out.
Awesome, man. Sweet. And send me. Perfect, man. And send me any links for your individual social media stuff, and we'll put that into the show notes as well, including your music and everything as well. So
can I just share something with them quick?
Awesome. Sweet. Okay, thumbs up to both of you. You guys are doing great. Good job, team. So cool. All right. So with that said, just kind of checking in and just kind of recapping, we're getting close to the end of the broadcast, and I'd like to be able to transition into a tarot card reading, and then from there we're basically going to wrap it up. I'm not sure if Vincent is here, aka Fennell, if I'm pronouncing that right. But if Vincent is here, please feel free to just jump in at any point, and we'll get you into the broadcast. But either way, thank you for being here. And so we talked a little bit about energy work and stuff like that. And again, that's all just practice talking. That conversation is ongoing, obviously. But let's get ready to move into the tarot discussion. But before we do that, I just want to be able to open up the talking circle if there is anything that anybody wanted to briefly mention, or any questions real quick. and then from there we'll go into the tarot. So, and if not, that's fine. We'll go right into the tarot. Does anybody have anything that they like want to bring to the circle at this point? Either like updates or anything that they got going on. So Jason's got something. All right, Jason, let me just get your microphone and go right ahead, dude. You're good.
Hey, this is just sort of an acknowledgement for Third Eye Tribe, just in regards to what you're saying you're doing. I used to be a raver in the DC area, so I'm way across the country, so I'm not going to likely be at your events anytime soon. But I would just say that in my experience within the rave scene, the EDM community and everything, there's so many people that are just so ready for what you're doing. So many people that like kind of wish that there was something like that. It's like people have so many different kinds of mindsets, but there's a lot of people that really have that longing for more of the conscious aspect of the scene to be really highlighted and pushed to the forefront. So I really want to thank you for passionately pursuing that, because I'm sure there's millions of people out there that would really resonate with that. However many lives you touch in LA, I hope you really put a ripple out there.
Totally. Jacob, go ahead if you want to reply to that. Let me just pull up your microphone real quick. Go ahead, Jacob.
I was just gonna think.
Oh, it's a little choppy there. Sorry, Jacob, try saying that again.
I was just saying thank you. We're always very appreciative of any gratitude that we receive.
Awesome. Totally. And yeah, again, just reiterating the fact of just what Jason's saying, that yeah, Jacob's doing some awesome stuff. But again, the beauty of people listening to this project, like this is, again, like if Jason's doing, if Jacob's doing it, or if Jason's doing it, you can do it. People can do this anywhere. Like that's the beautiful thing about it. It really just takes like the inspiration and the collective like morale of the team that can really like push things in those positive directions. And I think it's really cool, and it's something that I want to be able to start doing as well from my local paradigm shift community, is to be able to get more into the additional aspects of music and dance with a paradigm shift meetup. So in London, Ontario, Canada, where I'm located with Paradigm Shift London, there's been another group that is like also very conscious, and they've been doing like monthly ecstatic dance events, and those have been really awesome, and those are like been really helpful for me to just go there as an attendee. But it's really like moving me in the direction of being like, I'd love to be able to host some like sound healing and some other types of like dance type related events, specifically like with that conscious intention. It would take work, but I think there's a really powerful element to that. And there have been other people in the community who have also like hosted these like conscious community events, dance events and everything. And yeah, like they're very inspiring for the soul, is part of the way. It's like, yeah, it's very powerful medicine that you're creating through that sacred ceremony of music and dance. So music is a language in itself, speaks right to the heart. So beautiful stuff. All right, let's just check in. Was there anything else anybody just felt called to mention in this moment before we
Brendon, I'm here, Brendon. I'm driving.
And looks like we're good. Last call. Anything? We're good. Okay, cool. Sweet. Okay. So yeah, let's do that. Let's move into the tarot card. And again, if you guys have any links to your stuff, people in the Hangouts, please feel free to just post those in the chat so I can add those to the show notes. I know Jacob is doing that right now as well. And again, I'll just give a quick plug. So again, Jacob's stuff, thirdeyetribela.com, and that's the number 3 RDITribeLA.com. Check that out. But again, you can look up Third Eye Tribe LA on Facebook as well, but they got the main website too. So, but yeah, no, it's super awesome, man. It's just like really, really cool. Like, oh man, just it's cool. It's good stuff. Okay. With that said, let's move into a tarot card draw. We're gonna get right into doing that, and then from there we're gonna go into a closing meditation. Really short. I would I just want to again invite anybody else who feels called to do this guided meditation at the end. You're more than welcome to. So if not, that's totally cool. I'll help facilitate that. But again, just inviting if anybody wants to do the guided meditation at the end. You guys can. Sweet. Okay. So let's do the tarot card, and then from there we'll just recap and just kind of go over any last notes related to the project in general, and then from there we'll go into a closing meditation, and we'll call it a night after that. Yeah, which is crazy because that means this wasn't a 5-hour broadcast. It was like over 3 hours, but not 5 hours. Assuming we just, we'll see. It's not over yet, Brendon. Don't jinx it. Oh god. Okay. So every time we do the tarot card draw, this is really powerful. Again, this is a chance for the universe to communicate to itself through the language of symbols. When we're doing it as a group, it creates this really interesting channel for the universe to give a message in this moment, knowing that it will be heard. And that's, like, again, a very interesting paradox in itself. Just the idea of, like, creating a space for the universe to talk to you allows the universe to talk to you, so to speak. Anyways, this is from the Ananda Tarot deck. Here's the cover of the book. You guys can see that. And we'll read the description within it. So here's the deck. So just inviting you guys tuning into this, even those of you in the future, to just kind of like add your energy to this, and we'll just see what we can do. Practice our energy type stuff. So just kind of connect with the idea of love, of gratitude, of just showing us what we need to see in this moment. Excuse me. All right. Let's take in a breath here. Just gently moving my hands over the deck, up and down, vertically, waiting for a place to cut the deck. And then from that, we'll get our card. So. Oh, great mysterious universe. Show us what we need to see. All right, this week's card is Cups 3, which is one I feel like, oh, okay, that was weird. I like literally just opened my book to it. That was weird. Like, I didn't try to do that. Like, it wasn't even like that was okay. Whew. Wow. All right, universe wants us to read 3 of Cups. Okay. 3 of Cups. Got the page right here in front of me. Let's see what this message is. So if you guys are listening to this, just invite you even to just close your eyes and just kind of listen to this in this moment. So it's a little bit of meditation. Gift from the universe. 3 of Cups. The image. Above a fertile, charming summer landscape, 3 glasses of red wine hover as if on a higher level. Meaning, it is water's nature to flow freely and thereby find the path of least resistance. Going with the flow of collective emotion means contributing to the well-being of the environment according to one's inner being, without neglecting one's own individuality. Through the unhindered flow of positive, life-affirming feelings, this card expresses a comfortable position. Be it in the family as the smallest unit within social structure, or in a greater community connection, every situation is colored by the influence of feelings. The whole is therefore more than the sum of its parts. For the emotional condition of various singular beings has influence on the collective climate. Yeah, this is definitely a key. This in turn has its effect on the material manifestations. This is how man reaps what he sows. The fertile outcome of collective attempts is expressed in deep connection and humane warmth. By participating in celebrations as they come, common agreements finds its expression in mutual shared joy. Experiences of desire, zest for life, and cheerfulness can be gratefully accepted as a gift of life. Astrological significance, Venus, Jupiter, trine aspects. Keywords, world of emotions, sensuality, zest for life, pleasure, letting emotions flow, fullness, mutual agreements. traditional meaning, connection, cheerfulness, collective consciousness, fertility, gratefulness, fulfillment, celebrations, acceptance. So just going back to the meaning here, just a couple of sentences that really just popped out. Going with the flow of collective emotion means contributing to the well-being of the environment according to one's inner being without neglecting one's own individuality. So I think that's really cool, because that's something that we constantly are reiterating within this project, is the importance of the unique individual gifts that each of us carry. You know, like we here at Paradigm Shift do a pretty good job of like not making this a cult. And one of the easy ways to do that is by continuously encouraging people to be their own unique expression of source. And that's basically the importance of what this card is saying. You know, it's saying contributing to the well-being of the environment according to one's own inner being, according to one's own calling, without neglecting one's own individuality. So keep doing things in the way that only you can, is what this card is saying, because that is what is important, because you're the only one who can do it the way you can. And then it goes on, continues further. The whole is therefore more than the sum of its parts, for the emotional condition of various singular beings has influence on the collective climate. So this is basically what we were literally just talking about in terms of like the energy healing work and everything, and the importance of how our awareness of the vibrations that we carry literally has an impact on the collective. So never forget that. Like literally just by you finding peace within yourself, or you working through your own struggles, or working through your shadows, that in itself allows consciousness to expand as you expand. This in turn has its effect on material manifestation. This is how man reaps what he sows. The fertile outcome of collective attempts is expressed in deep connection and humane warmth. By participating in celebrations as they come, common agreements finds its expression in mutual shared joy. So again, this it's funny because like this card is like literally mapping out what we just talked about. This part here, by participating in celebrations as they come, common agreements finds its expression in mutual shared joy. So it's talking about the importance of celebration. It's talking about the importance of community. So it's talking about the importance of throwing a sweet party with like conscious music and conscious DJing and stuff like that, you know, as examples. So really just thinking about the ways of like, for those of you who feel called to, of the ways that we can invite people into that common field and that common expression of joy, be it through dancing, be it through, you know, an event, or like I said, being it through like simple everyday actions that we can do on a regular basis, such as free hugs, such as smiles, such as conversations, such as simply listening and being present with people. And so experiences of desire, zest for life, and cheerfulness can be gratefully accepted as a gift of life. So that's really what we're doing. You know, we're sharing that gift of life. We're sharing the zest and the joy that each of us has the potential to tap into. And then through there, we are able to share it. We are able to share the happiness that we experience simply by being it, and then inviting others to be able to join in that by giving them permission for them to tap into their own cheerfulness simply by seeing the cheerfulness that you yourself have tapped into. That is always available and accessible. So yeah, Three of Cups, again, you know, this is about going with the flow, maintaining your own unique expression and individuality, understanding that the whole is more than the sum of its parts, and understanding that each single one of us plays a role in the collective totality of things. So every little thing that you do creates a ripple, and that's the important thing, and that's the good news, because that's why it's all possible to do what we do. And again, by sharing in the participation of celebration and joy, and finding the common agreements and expression of mutual shared joy. So yeah, going out there and spreading the love, spreading the joy, spreading the shift, bring the shift with you. So Three of Cups, there you go, from the Ananda Tarot deck. So all right, let's just open up the microphone. Does anybody have any any other thoughts maybe that even just came to mind while we were just talking about that? if they would like to share in this moment, and otherwise that's totally fine. We'll get close to wrapping it up. Does anybody want to share anything related to what that card meant to them, or just reiterating any sort of validation that the card might have brought to you in this moment? I think that's all right. So cool. All right, you guys, yeah, no, you good, all good. John's got something to say. Thank you, John. I was like, I was kind of waiting for you. Anyways, not that I was waiting for it, but I just had a feeling that you had something to say. John, go ahead. Anything that you got on your mind?
Okay, I was just gonna send everyone a free hug.
There it is, incoming free hug from
cyber
John.
hugs are a thing.
Cyber hug. Everyone
Yeah,
cyber
yeah,
hug right now.
That's a good hug. Thank you.
Feels good, man. All right. Thanks, John.
All right. Thank you.
Awesome. And on that note, I will say, like, again, within this project, that's one of the joys is being able to see the unique individuality of all the people involved with this project. There's only one John, there's only one Jason, there's only one Jacob, there's only one Crystal, there's only one Anna, there's only one Brendon. And that's a super powerful thing, because we don't have to worry about comparing ourselves to each other, but we find inspiration through what each of us are doing. Like that's like yeah, this is a game, but like we're all on the same team and we're all collectively like supporting each other simply by being us, and in turn by allowing others to be inspired by the fact that we are, following our heart, following our call, and being our own unique expression as a badass, individualized light worker, as a Jedi. And, that's something that I keep saying, is that like that seed is inside of you. Who you already, your potential, like, is already inside of you. What we talked about, that future reality already exists. You're in the process of like going through the lessons, learning from mistakes, learning what not to do, and learning how to like step into the alignment that is bringing you closer to that feeling that you get when you're just like, like this is my destiny type thing. So what is your destiny? It's a unique path for everyone. And just encouraging us and adding the support to do it. It's an important one. And, for those of us who are involved with the shift, who are on this soul mission, absolutely, it's not always going to be an easy one, but it's definitely going to be worth it. It already is worth it. So remember, if you're facing like the challenges, that just means that you're like earning more experience and you're playing like the harder levels. So the universe only gives us what we can handle. So even when you're like up against something really hard, it's there for you. So, but you guys know that. It's reflecting. So we're all just mirrors, man. We're all just mirrors, man. We're all just mirrors, man. Write that on a sign and stand downtown. So what is Brendon gonna look like in like 100 years from now? Am I gonna be like some like old guy with a free hug sign standing at a street corner still? I don't know, man. We'll see. With a little elf, yeah. All right. Checking in. Let's move into closing off this broadcast with a meditation. I want to be able to invite someone here if they would like to do any sort of guided closing meditation. Please feel free to let me know right now. In the meantime, again, just want to remind you guys that these broadcasts are something interactive and that you're always welcome to get involved with future ones. All you got to do is create a profile on the main website. If you haven't yet, that's entirely free to do so. And of course, be sure to download the Paradigm Shift Central mobile app through the main website, live.paradigmshiftcentral.com/mobile app. Links in the YouTube info as well, or look up Paradigm Shift Central on the Apple Store as well. And again, that is like going to be a huge thing. It's going to sync you up with notifications, and there's a lot of cool stuff to explore. Huge thank you right now in this broadcast to the Team Patreon supporters. I will be talking about this a little bit later on, but just letting you guys know that we are going to be working on getting some ongoing support built for the Team Patreon. And part of the reason, and again, like, this is just a dynamic of how Patreon works and everything like that. It's a very it's a very powerful model, but it's also one that can kind of like fluctuate at times. And there has been some fluctuation within the past, and it's literally just like people being like, sorry, my financial situation changed, and therefore like donations have to get put on hold. But a lot of people are just like, yeah, I'll redonate when I can. But yeah, and like again, this is just back end numbers just to give you an idea of the incentive behind like helping the Patreon continue to build and the importance of it. But yeah, there's like we like dropped about like $70 in total donations within a short period, and one of those was someone who was donating 30 and they had to like drop theirs down to 3. But again, like honestly, like no hard feelings, like it's totally just the nature of this. But at the same time, just inviting more people to be able to sign up for the team Patreon, to add their support, to get their shifter booster kit, to get their light guardian crystals, to get their hug signs, to get their crystal massage wands, their crystal wire wraps, all of these powerful tools to be able to help assist you with the shift. And again, the monthly asking micro donation is just $3 to $5, and when we all give a little, we all get a lot. So building that team Patreon one single drop at a time, and again, that helps make this project possible. It helps make it free and accessible for the team, and it continues to support the ongoing evolution and the ongoing support of shifters within this project who are putting a lot of heart and soul into what they're creating for the community. And that's the goal. So let's keep building that team Patreon, and literally like that's, check back in a few years, that team Patreon is going to be like in the thousands. And what does it look like when it's there? What are the things that we can start like accomplishing at that level when we can start moving the energy around in more dynamic ways? So patreon.com/Brendon Culliton, links are in the info below. And thank you again to those of you already signed up on Team Patreon, those of you signing up in the future, and just those of you tuned in right now in general. So there's a million and one ways to support this project, and thank you for doing it in your ways. So all right. With that said, let's move into a very short closing meditation. Does anybody here, last call, does anybody here feel called to bring us into, to guide us into this closing meditation? If they would like to.
Yeah.
John, yeah? Yeah, you want to do it? Okay, cool. All right, so we'll do that. We'll pass over to John, and like literally, like it can be honestly like 5 minutes is fine, between like 5 and 10 minutes, whatever works, John. I leave it up to you to help us close off this again, this sacred ceremony, and just again, bringing it back into embodying a lot of the things that we've been talking about and carrying that forward. So the broadcast ends, but the story continues. So John, we're going to pass it over to you, and just inviting everyone to get nice and comfortable. And John's going to lead us through this closing meditation. So, John, I'm pulling up your microphone now.
Okay.
When you're ready, go right ahead.
Okay, sure. Take a few deep breaths.
Sorry, John, can you move your microphone a little bit closer before you get going into it?
Better?
Yeah, in a way that works for you. So I'm not sure if you might have to hold it, kind of.
Is that better?
That's good enough, yeah.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
As you walk down through a clearing in the trees, you find yourself on the banks of the river of life. As you slowly slip into the water, you enter the flow, and it gently carries you down to the mouth of the river of life. From there, the waters cleanse you until all that's left is your energy, flowing gently out into the ocean of consciousness. Your energy merges with everyone else's. As your body dissipates and your energy anticipates going on a journey, moving slowly, gently across the surface of the ocean of consciousness. Your energy moves, sways, stays close to the surface. And as you relax and feel your whole being cleansed and purified, you realize all at once that you've risen from the waters of the ocean of consciousness, ever so slowly into space, outside time, outside of anything called reality, floating as pure energy, moving slowly, pulsing, flowing, going wherever you need to regenerate. Feel yourself energized, healed, for your truth to be revealed. Moving through timelines, focusing on the best one for everyone. There's nothing to do. There's nowhere to be. You sense a golden energy coming from everywhere. You're a part of it. It flows across the surface of the ocean of consciousness. It flows throughout space. It's emanating from every part of everything. It puts a smile upon your face. Generates a feeling of purity, of unity, of unconditional love. Flows from beneath you, flows from above. It moves with grace. It elevates you to a higher place. It frees you of any limits or boundaries. Gives you confidence and courage and bravery for whatever you face. Takes you on a journey, the beginning to the end of everything, only to realize that all there is now. There's no decisions, there's no obstacles, there's no tests, there's no challenges, just infinite possibilities, beautiful opportunities. You're open wide. You're vulnerable. You're expansive. You're expanding in every direction. You're in touch with everything. You're connected to everyone. You're a piece of perfect, divine blueprint, unfolding in a beautiful, magical way. And it's happening quite naturally, each and every day. And as you resonate with golden, divine, pure, unconditional, loving energy, you float down, back around your body, sensing the change that's coming over you. It's positive, it's beautiful, it's perfect, and it's free. It's an end to every story and the beginning of a journey. Feel yourself returning to your body, purified, healed. Your truth has been revealed. You know who you are now. You know what your destiny is and where it lies. Tomorrow is a new day. This journey is going to unfold in a new and interesting way. But for now, take a few deep breaths. You relax into this beautiful, positive feeling. Knowing that when you open your eyes, all these truths will be revealing. Take your time. This energy is for you. And you can connect to it whenever you need to. All you need to do is take a deep breath. Breathe in this unconditional loving energy of the universe, of Source. It's you. Let it into your heart. Let it spread from there to your expanded self. And that begins the start of your unfolding destiny.
John, you can just gently bring us back and conclude, and we'll go from there.
Okay. As you float back, gently coming down, back onto the surface of the ocean of consciousness. Flowing back towards the mouth of the river of life. Flowing upstream till you reach the bank. Your body slipped into the waters. Come back to you. Come back to now. Remember who you are. Remember what you came to do. When you're ready, step back into the woods. Step back onto the path. Slowly wander back to the clearing in the woods. And back into our group. Your home.
Thank you, John.
No worries.
Awesome. And so just inviting everyone to just gently bring your awareness back to your physical body. And slowly you can open your eyes and return your awareness to the space around you. So thank you again, John, for that little journey meditation there. Much love, brother. And yeah, with that said, I'm ready to go to sleep. I don't know about you guys, but segue this right into the dream space. So yeah, let's just take a quick one more pass with the microphone for anybody who's here. And there's only a few of us left in the chat in this moment. So shout out to those of you those who are already joined in and had just left earlier. Much love to everyone. But yeah, if there's any other gratitude, to just go around the circle with one last time, and then we will conclude this broadcast. And yeah, mission accomplished at that point. So just checking in, we got Jacob, we got Jason, we got John, and we got Anna. So just an opportunity for you guys to express any gratitude that you would like to express for the team, for the community, for the world. So just give me a show, give me a hand, put a hand up if you would like to express anything first. All right, Anna, I'm going to pull up your microphone real quick, and then we'll do Jacob. So Anna, when you're ready. Yep, go ahead.
Hey,
Anna.
can you hear me now? Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to say to everyone in closing that thanks heaps for this conversation. It's been amazing. I love it. I've had so many inspirational ideas. I've got like ideas for short stories to do with this spiritual healing and how paradigm shift sort of, is the common room for everyone, and where we all come to discuss the problems of whatever we're dealing with and help each other, guide each other on the path and that. So it's going to be fun. Love it. Thanks, everyone.
Awesome. Thank you as well, Anna. Sweet. All right, let's keep we'll keep passing it, and Jacob, we'll pass over to you if you want to share some gratitude. Go ahead, dude. You're good.
Yes. Okay. Just wanted to say thank you. Thank you, John. I think that was your name. That was beautiful. Definitely looking forward to going back and listening to that a little bit better with some headphones on, and getting a little bit more lost into it as well. But definitely thank you for creating this space, Brendon. It's an amazing space for us to be able to come together and and hang out and expand our consciousness. And anybody who's listening to this now or in the future, just look out for the Third Eye Tribe in LA. Connect with us. Paradigm Shift Los Angeles. Look out for the page as well. Connect with us there. We'll be happy to join with you guys, and whatever day, month, year it is that you finally connect with us, we're looking forward to it. That's pretty much it. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Jacob, and Jacob, your partner as well. Sorry, what was your partner's name? Annette. Jeanette. Awesome. Thank you, Jeanette. Good job, team. You guys are doing great. Awesome. All right. Just checking. Jason, was there anything? Give me a thumbs up if you want to share something, just to close it off, if you'd like. Or no? Yes. No. Did you want to share anything? No? Okay, that's cool. Jason's already shared plenty, so that's totally cool. All right, and John, any closing words if you want to just a little message out there for the shifters before we wrap it up?
Just thanks to everyone who took part tonight, especially to you. And yeah, I'm just trying to come up with uses of the word shifty.
The potentials are infinite, so have fun with that one. All right, John, thanks again, man. Peace. Awesome. So, and thank you to the listeners out there. For those of you listening to this in the future, as always, please feel free to share these broadcasts with your friends. Not even just this broadcast. There are hundreds of other broadcasts available through the website, and even more accessible through the mobile app once you get yourself synced up with that. And yeah, again, stay tuned for future broadcasts. At this point, for those of you listening within the present time frame, stay tuned, because Wednesday we're going to do like the off-air hangout, open-minded discussion circle, and we'll start to see what we can turn that into, and that will be with or without me actually being there. But yeah, stay tuned for that, and that will be available for members of the website. So just make sure you got your profile set up on the main website and download the mobile app, and you're good to go, and you got all the tools you need right there to get synced up and play the game. So other than that, the next official live broadcast, stay tuned. I'd like to say it'll be a team building circle, same as what we did this week, but just with, what's happening next week, or it may be Dream Class. I just got to meditate on it a little bit longer. There's a lot to do on a regular basis within this project, and yeah, I mean, I could spend more time talking about that, but nonetheless, there's enough to keep me busy. And yeah, thank you guys again for all your support in helping make this possible, the team Patreon supporters, and just everyone for your ongoing energetic support, and for helping co-create the shared visions of what this project is about. And again, it's about creating digital and physical sacred space for us to be able to come together as community to continue to inspire and encourage us to be the change that we wish to see in the world. So shifters of the world, unite. So with that said, let's conclude this broadcast, and I'll just invite you guys one last time to unmute your microphones and just make a little noise to say goodnight to everyone. And yeah, ParadigmShiftCentral.com. My name is Brendon. YouTube.com/SkullBabylon. Patreon.com/Brendon Culliton. And yeah, we'll see you guys soon enough. So let's make some noise, everyone. Bringing up the microphones. Love you guys. Awesome. Thank you guys. I love how we all just like intuitively just like wolf howl and stuff like that. So it's a good thing. Remember, I'll finish it on this note. The strength of the wolf is not its fangs or its speed. The strength of the wolf is the tribe. So there you go. So much love to all the tribe out there. Thank you again so much for tuning in. As always, remember that the shift is you. The shift is us. So until next time, this is Brendon signing off. Skull Babylon, keeping it shifty, and we will see you guys in the future. Peace, love, and wholeness. Take care.